Pat McAfee Show.
There will be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Yes, sir. Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
What? It is Tuesday, March 16th, 3/16 day in Stone Cold Senso. Shout to Steve Austin. Obviously, Austin 316 is something that, changed a lot of kids' lives around the world. And today we celebrate that by probably whatting at least 4 people off the calls whenever they call into us today. 1-888-MAD-DOG-6. There's a lot going on in the world right now. We are in the middle of a free agency frenzy. Now, obviously, March Madness is about to pop off here in Indiana. We have a bracket bonanza challenge happening on the March Madness live app. $51,000 to the winner. If we become the largest bracket on the March Madness live app, which Bleacher Report currently has a 23,000 person one, we're at like 16,000 or something like that. If we become the largest bracket bonanza challenge on the March Madness live app, that'll go to $75,000 giveaway. And then if it hits 50,000 entrants, which it won't, okay?
Not a chance.
No way.
But if it does, we might as well celebrate. We'll give away a $100,000 prize to the person with the best bracket. That'll be judged with traditional scoring as opposed to a new underdog something scoring. We're going OG traditional method. It is not affiliated with anybody but the NCAA. With that being said, no international entry. The NCAA said, we're all about building all of these walls.
Yeah.
Even the internet walls. If you're in Canada, don't even think about fucking getting into this thing. If you're in Australia, Estonia, Belgium, and you get it. Anywhere where people listen to this show and watch this show, you're going to have to get a fake VPN to say you're in America. But we need to get this thing up. If it's the biggest on the app, 75 grand. If we get to 50,000, which it will not happen, goes to 100 grand. At least 51,000 being giveaway now. Get in. What are you waiting for? You are going to predict the perfect bracket, but it's still going to lose because I'm going to predict the perfect graphic or the perfect bracket, and I'm also going to guess the final score exactly right.
I am.
No, you can't win.
I'm going to win.
No, you cannot win.
I'm going to win.
No, I'm going to win, so you can't win.
You can't win.
You're Canadian. I said it yesterday. You cannot win. You can't win.
I already entered.
Anyways, we have all entered, okay? It is a little bit of a intra-office, battle going on for who's going to have the best bracket. My wife also filled one out. She has no idea about any of the teams and the thing. She'll probably win.
Oh, yeah, probably.
But that's what we're saying. We want more people in because we want that thing to get to 75,000. So if you've already entered, be a friend, tell a friend. Let's make this thing a beautiful tradition we do annually to bet on these collegiate student human athletes as they play in a March Madness. Shout out to everybody that's already signed up. 17,000 or something like that in one day. Pretty good. No affiliation with the app, so our picture's not even up there and not very easy to find. Pretty good.
Never done it before.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's talk about free agency. That started really going into full effect yesterday. The legal tampering period for the 2021 NFL season free agency frenzy started yesterday at noon. A lot of teams made some signings, okay? We learned a lot yesterday. Some big names got off the board. And after we went off the show yesterday, Jameis Winston going back to New Orleans. Congrats.
Yeah.
Sham Charania, basketball insider, broke that news. We put some pieces together. The New Orleans Pelicans NBA team and the New Orleans Saints, same ownership, same social media. I would assume it's the same thing. Sham's got ties in the NBA. So the NBA ties got Shams to break the news that Jameis Winston's going back to New Orleans for a deal worth up to $12 million. There's now a quarterback competition between Taysom Hill, who got paid a 4-year, $140 million deal a couple of days ago. All years voidable, so that means absolutely nothing. But Sean Payton just said this morning on the Dan Patrick Show, he said that they're set at quarterback. They feel as if those two are going to be able to compete to go on to be their quarterback. So congrats to Jameis Winston being the quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. big deal. This is a massive deal for Jameis Winston, who just 1 year ago, couldn't find a job. He had just led the NFL in passing yards. He had his most, but he threw also like touchdowns to the other team, almost just as much as he did for his own team. Yeah. He gets LASIK surgery. He signs a $1 million deal, min deal, basically, to go to New Orleans within the division. He says it's Harvard of football. Now Sean Payton's like, we want you back. Let's go. Drew Brees crying. This is your team now. I mean, it's a whole thing. Good for Jameis, good for the Saints. Can't wait to see what they pull off. Another quarterback signed yesterday, Ryan Fitzmagic. A man who came on this show and said that he had fire back inside of him after playing for the Dolphins this past season, was entering a free agency not knowing who was going to want him, who was going to want to have Fitzmagic in their uniform and make it his 9th team in the NFL potentially. Ooh. Well, the Washington football team signed him to a 1-year, $10 million deal. Fitzmagic is back. Fitzmagic. There was a little bit of a conversation, like he's leaning towards retirement. Fitzmagic is thinking about retiring, and we all came out and was like, that sounds like bullshit. Guess what it was? Yep. Now he and Taylor Heineke, who might be the same people, different ages.
Ooh. Yeah.
Not 100% sure. Only got to see Taylor Heineke in one game. That earned him like a $7 million job. Now you got $10 million Fitzmagic, who's been there, done that, going into his 16th year in the NFL. Harvard grad. In his 16th year, he's making $10 million to play quarterback. Good for Ryan Fitzmagic. Good for the Washington football team. Bud Dupree signed with the Tennessee Titans. This is massive and terrible for the AFC South. Bud Dupree, whenever he was playing for the Steelers last year, the Steelers were undefeated in their defensive line was literally just meeting at the quarterback. TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, Bud Dupree, they were a problem. What's his name?
Tyson Alula.
Alula. They were just crushing and killing people. How you doing? Keep it moving. Offense wasn't that great a lot of games. Defense was winning those games. D-line was. Bud Dupree tears his ACL. Whole team looks very different. Now, obviously, you lose an all-pro, Pro Bowl type talent, your team's going to look different. But that entire team looked different whenever Bud got hurt. I wanted him in the Indianapolis Colts uniform. Bad. Coming off an ACL, nobody knew what was really going to happen. He gets a 5-year, $82.5 million deal, $35 million guaranteed to go play for the Tennessee Titans. Vrabel's got an absolute stud. Let's assume science has figured out how to get him back from his ACL tear, and he's going to be the same dominant player. Congrats to Vrabel. And then when it comes to basically every other free agent that you've ever heard of, okay, every single one, and we're now literally 9 minutes in to day 2 of the free agent tampering period. Tomorrow kicks off the league year. Deals are allowed to be done right now free. Every other free agent that you've heard of and you thought like, okay, I want that person on my team and they've been signed already, they're at the fucking New England Patriots. Yes! The New England Patriots have $137 million in guaranteed money already on the table. Just in 24 hours, in 10 minutes, and 20 seconds. They have $137.5 million in guarantees. The New England Patriots looked at this free agency and said, these motherfuckers want to say we're dead. Did they see the roster we were playing with? Yeah, it's not. Obviously, we don't have Tom Brady, but did you see everything else? And everybody's like, well, Bill, you put that roster together. And he's like, you're right. We're on to the fucking free agency, too. Wait till you see what we do. Day 1, these motherfuckers think I'm not going to play any games. $137.5 million in guarantees. Day 1 for the New England Patriots in this free agency period in 2021, where Bill Belichick is potentially staring into the mirror and saying, I ain't here for a long time anymore. I'm here for a good time. We need to turn this thing around quick. How do we do that? What's an offense that was beating us a little bit? Okay, let's go with an athletic quarterback who happened to also have double tight end sets. The game is potentially changing. How do we do that? Okay, we'll bring in number 81 who played running back, tight end, H-back, and I believe an X-receiver at one point. Jonnu Smith, the man who is built like a Greek god, let's bring him in there. Everybody's like, okay, so he's got his tight end. And Bill Belichick's like, wait a motherfucking minute. Hold on. Everybody thought Hunter Henry was the guy. We got him too. Signed Hunter Henry to the New England Patriots this morning. This is unbelievable. Now their offense, now you got to bank that Cam Newton is going to be more of the good that we saw from this past season as opposed to the pretty bad that we saw this past season. But 2 tight ends are an absolute weapon. Bring in Aguilar. Then they got Kendrick Bourne. Then they got Julian Edelman still there. N'Keal Harry now, which everybody says is a mistake in New England, allegedly 3 teams are now trying to trade for him, which sounds a lot like Bill Belichick's. Like, yeah, tell him a bunch of people fucking want N'Keal Harry.
No, he's good.
How many people? 3. Yeah, 3 people want it. Yeah, go ahead. This offense has transformed in one day with over $100 and some million in guarantees. They also add to the defensive line, and a lot of not people talking about Henry Goose Anderson, formerly of the Jets and of the Colts. I'm a big fan of his. That's a hell of a ball player. The New England Patriots might have got themselves back into the conversation of what team's going to do some shit in the AFC, and Bill Belichick is like, people forgot. They're going to be players, we assume, in the next couple of days as well. Everybody's saying they're not done yet somehow. I don't know what else they're going to possibly do, but the moves that have been made have done one thing and one thing alone. That has brought out the wicked awesome New England fan base that was very quiet for some time.
Oh, yeah.
They were trying to be respectable. Hey, it's not our time anymore. Not our time. Oh, my God. Open the door of insufferability. They are back. Patriots fans, right back into thinking we're the greatest team on earth because there's a lot of teams that could do what the Patriots did yesterday. Oh, yeah. They chose not to. Teams spend in free agency, it doesn't always work out. But you guys have full faith that the players that are coming in make you guys a contender all of a sudden.
All the way back. I mean, you wanted to see this from Bill, but more so it just reinforces the fact that he's heard everything. He's heard the noise. The Patriots are dead forever. They got to go and do a 5-year rebuild. And now all of a sudden, bring in a couple tight ends, couple wide receivers. Let's fix up the D-line. I mean, it's perfect. The Patriots are all the way back. I feel bad for the Buffalo Bills because they thought they were going to run the East for the next 20 years, and here we are.
Bills Mafia, okay? The door opened last year. Tom Brady moves out of town. The big bad wolf is gone. This is now our team, or our division. They thought maybe the Dolphins will start cooking, and Dolphins like, don't you worry about us.
We'll screw that up all on.
We don't care.
We'll get rid of everybody good we have.
Hey, we'll take care. We understand the deal here. We know what's going on. We're not. Come on. We got this with Josh Allen. First year to second year. Wow, what a jump. Second year to third year. Holy shit. Now they got a quarterback. They got a team. They got a head coach. They got a GM that's making moves. The Buffalo Bills thought to themselves, and Bills Mafia thought, we're good. We're good for at least the next 5-10 years or whatever. This is going to be us. We got the guy now, Josh Allen. Cam Newton, I'm not 100% sure everybody believes is going to be the guy. But I think with the moves that Bill Belichick is making right now, if Cam Newton turns out not to be the guy, I assume Bill will make a move. Like, I assume Bill is in a go for broke. This ain't over. I'm still the best of all time. I need to succeed one more time here to get everybody off my ass, basically. I'm the greatest. Here we go. This mindset that Bill has, like, we are going to get better. Yeah. Like, listen, if something ain't working, we're going to get better. You said it's kind of like he heard everybody. Mm-hmm. I like the thought that this is potentially some petty signing. Yeah. Like, hey, you know what? Wait till they want to talk shit on me. I'm going to put my dog out there. The dog will answer questions. Yep. Okay, and we'll do all this thing. But I think if it doesn't work out with Cam, they're okay with making another move middle of the season if they have to. It feels like New England is going for it. Another team is going for it. Indianapolis Colts, what are we doing?
Uh-oh. No.
Uh-oh. What are we? I mean, we traded for a quarterback, I guess, so yeah, that's good. We got a quarterback. That's a big move.
Huge.
That's big move, okay?
Yeah, that's awesome.
But there was some other potential. Now, granted, if you're a team and you have cap space and no money has been spent, no, there's a lot of free agents still out there.
Oh, yeah.
Plenty.
Kenny Golladay, best wide receiver in the free agent market. Everybody except for New England's opinions, I guess, here. He's still out there. Juju Smith-Schuster.
Oh, yes.
He's still out there. Trent Williams, still out there. Kyle Van Noy, still out there. Richard Sherman, still out there. There's a Chris Carson who everybody's talking about could potentially going to different places. I guess the New England Patriots are also in on a running back. They're going to sign a running back today. Will it be Chris Carson or Lombardi Leonard Fournette? I mean, there is a lot of those conversations. There's still a lot of players out there. So if you're a Colts fan like I am, or if your team has some money, they haven't done anything, I think you have to sit back and think, let's not bash them yet. But don't worry. If nothing happens with all that money, there will be bashing, I assume, from everybody about what the fuck are we doing here? Because this year offers an now granted, they're signing everybody like 2-year deals. Tooney goes to the Chiefs, obviously, yesterday, 2-year deal. It's a 4-year deal, but his first 2 years fully guaranteed, so it's basically a short deal here. Everybody's doing that because of the opportunity with the salary cap situation. You're seeing Bill say, fuck it, let's go for it. Other teams are not doing it. I assume today some people are going to open the pocketbook up a little bit.
So, like, I'm used to it because the
Town
Steelers,
Dig speaking, by the way, diehard Steelers.
Steelers
fan.
never spend any money in free agency. So I'm used to it. This doesn't bother me. But if I'm a team like the Colts who have so much money available and they're still not spending, that would drive me insane.
Yeah, it's tough. It's really tough, but it's been really difficult. Last night we were on actually Twitter Spaces, which is a knockoff of Clubhouse.
Oh, yeah.
Which I don't think they got all the kinks out of that tech yet, because I've been kicked out of my own space a few times and people got muted. It was an absolute blast.
Great time.
But that was when a lot of the news, there was news, Jameis signed, and then this signed, and then this happened, and this morning you see that. It's been difficult just to sit back and be like, what are we going to, but then you have to remind yourself, Kenny Galladay's still out there.
Yeah.
Trent Williams, who's an absolute stud tackle from the San Francisco 49ers. Previously, he was traded there. He is an absolute, he's still out there. So there's still very high-end people that you can get to add to your team that immediately makes them better. I mean, Kyle Long's not really being talked about in this entire thing. If he's back to form at all, there's another fucking all-pro offensive lineman who is taking visits to the Raiders and to the Chiefs. I'd assume more people would be like, hey, let's just not necessarily take the cheapest deal of all time. Do you feel like you can move a little bit? Yeah, let's talk about this. Ndamukong Suh potentially going back. I mean, there's a lot of big-name guys still out there if anybody else wants to get in the market, which I assume everybody will at Ty Schmidt.
Do you think this will move pretty quickly today? And do you think because the Patriots have been so aggressive, it might kind of like expedite some teams saying like, okay, hey, like we need to go get this guy now?
And it's very interesting because I would assume a lot of the judgment is, the shitty teams, the shitty
Right.
franchises
Yeah.
are always spending money. Like, it's the shitty franchises. They're the ones that spend money. We don't. Like Mike Tomlin told Chase Young this past season, which was a hilarious line. I don't ever want to lose enough games to be able to draft you. Okay, listen, they don't make guys like you where I want to be drafted at, where I want to be picking at, which is an incredible line. That mindset is kind of similar to how people view free agency. It's like, we don't ever want to be in a position where we have to spend blah, blah, blah. But I think whenever Bill Belichick starts doing things, it's going to catch everybody in the NFL and go like, you see what fucking Bill's doing? And they're like, yeah, but their team stinks. It's like, yeah, but their franchise doesn't. So maybe there is a chance you can cycle through both styles here, where you can maybe have your own homegrown guys that do well, but also you can recognize an opportunity in a situation like COVID has done. Anybody that has some money, they should potentially go in there. It's what Bill's doing. I'm not saying we should do it. I'm just saying the greatest of all time, the guy that hosts the show that describes who's the greatest of all time, he's the guy doing the same thing. Maybe we should think about it, and maybe he will potentially influence others to get active, but it's always like that old school mentality. But now you got the oldest of old school doing something very different. I'm intrigued to see how the ripple effect goes throughout the rest of the league.
Yeah, because for 10 plus years, that's how Bill attacked free agency. And now out of nowhere, he's doing this, and it's throwing everyone through a loop.
Because he traded for Moss,
Yeah.
right?
Trades
Cheap,
for
though.
sure.
He's made some trades. Like, he has done that stuff. Yeah, and then Moss was like a fourth rounder or something like that. Like that. And I almost got in trouble for a tweet I put out.
What's that?
I was like, so Randy Moss is equivalent to a potential fourth round wide receiver? Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? And they're like, please don't be discussing anybody else's deals. I'm like, I mean, and then Randy went on to do.
Yeah, caught
And
20 touchdowns.
Yeah, and I almost wanted to do like a callback, like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, maybe I should get into your job. Like, I'm thinking this is a bad deal here for somebody. Somebody's getting fucking screwed in this thing. That's always happened. But now that he's just like, yeah, fuck it. Okay, we only got this time. How old is he now? 68?
Bill, 69, going on
69. Yeah, he said at one point he thought about 70 would be the finish line. But then as he got closer to 70, he said, it's not as old as I thought it was going to be or whatever. I think he's like, we are turning this thing around very quickly. And that's why all anybody's saying in negative to all these moves is they still got Cam Newton at quarterback, Cam Newton quarterback. If you see what he's doing right now, before the signing day, signing even happens, before the league, in the tampering period, what he's doing, let's assume that he'll be okay to make a move if that doesn't work out again next year. It's just like the mindset of Bill right now is changing into a much more new school mindset, but it's because he is potentially in his last chapter of this entire thing. It's interesting because that is going to affect everybody. Yesterday, the Patriots, and since yesterday, Trent Brown re-signed Cam Newton, Judon, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, Aguilar, Kendrick Byrne, Devon Godchaux, Jalen Mills, Henry Goose Anderson. They re-signed Mr. Wise, Dante Hightower, and Patrick Chung come back off the opt-out. Their entire team in the matter of 24 hours, went from, oh, they're going to grind it out, they're going to win some games, it's going to be close games, all of a sudden to this team is going to win 10 games again. This team's going to win 11 games somehow because of the amount of pieces they have. And you just assume that Josh McDaniels, you assume Ernie Sims, is that his name?
Adams.
Ernie Adams.
Ernie Sims is a great
athlete.
Yeah, great
Out
athlete.
of Florida State.
Yep.
Got drafted to Detroit, played for the Eagles, played for the Colts. Great man. He's now a player development person, I think, for FIU, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Shout out Ernie Sims. Ernie Adams, though, he's there. Let's assume that they will be able to figure out how to make this a profitable outcome in the end. But if they win games, it's going to change how everybody views free agency because everybody knows if somebody gets cut from the Patriots, everybody in the league wants to sign them. If it's good enough for Bill, it's good enough for me. That is a mindset for a lot of people. This could change things entirely going forward.
And a big conversation, this whole season was how the draft, they're so terrible. Bill's been so terrible in the draft, but because we don't have to sign guys like the Colts do because they've been so good in the draft, we don't have to worry about that aside from our punter, Jake Bailey. And so we can just spend all this cash on guys who are
free
proven.
agent?
He's got, I believe, one more year left.
A lot of people are tweeting, we need a punter. It's like, no, you don't. That guy is unbelievable.
Stud.
He is. He bombs balls, that guy up there. All the key places, it feels like they got guys. In the NFL now, in 2021, got to have a tight end.
Yep.
Got to have a good tight end. Now they have 2 stud tight ends. If Cam Newton can play, everybody talks about how bad Cam Newton is, and there's a couple plays that he had last year, numerous plays that he had last year that were not good. Tough to watch.
Yeah.
Tough to watch. But there was also some plays last year where you're like, oh, there it is. Like that's the Cam.
Yeah.
And then you listen to that interview he gave on the I Am Athlete podcast where he's like, I'm not going out like that. You would assume he has a lot to prove. But boy, that fucking Patriots team. I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment. But 24 hours later here, all of a sudden the Patriots are in real conversation again. And I assume that was by design. Joining us now is a man who knows a lot about that Patriots organization.
Yeah.
Served as an advisor, I believe, or counsel to the head coach in New England, was a GM in the NFL, has worked every position in National Football League. To chit-chat about what's going on in New England and league-wide, friend of the show, author of Gridiron Genius, host of the Lombardi Line and the GM Shuffle, founder of the Daily Coach, which is an email newsletter, a man that has more jobs than any of us and succeeds at all of them. Paisan Michael Lombardi.
I appreciate it.
You sound bad. Is it going to cut out every other word, do you think? Here, let's do a little test. 1, 2, 1, 2.
1, 2. I'm good.
Nah, we got called back. It's our side, not yours. That's a shame.
Looks good with that switch.
Yeah, he does.
He got a good
Great intro.
great. It was a good intro. I'm not going to be able to hit all those again. You know what I mean? That was one of those. Yeah, that was one of those ones. Like while I'm in the middle of it, I'm like, oh, I think I can hit for the cycle here. I think I can hit all of them.
You did.
And
You crushed it.
I got all the way through it. I'm thankful for it. And what I just said, I can't echo that again any louder. Ladies and gentlemen, a man who, Michael Lombardi.
Thank you, Pat. It's good to be here. Good to see you.
Oh, it's such a better connection. It was our fault. It's great to have you back. Let's talk. Let's dive right into it. You're a man who has done a lot of things in the NFL, but I think a lot of people are most interested by the fact that you have a close relationship with the greatest coach of all time, which is Bill Belichick. Obviously, your kid coaches up there. One of your kids coaches up there. You have deep ties up there. This free agency frenzy in the last 24 hours out of Bill Belichick is something that I don't think any person, maybe you did, saw coming. This is going to change the game for a lot of other people because other people are going to see Bill Belichick did it. We can start doing this. He has been a madman in spending $137.5 million in guarantees. Did you see this coming? What do you think this says about the mindset of a friend of yours, Bill Belichick?
You know, I tweeted out on Monday that they would have a different team by Friday, and I kind of truly felt they would do this. Look, they went through a tough year last year, and I think this is not just Belichick just throwing things in the shopping cart as he goes down the aisle. This is a strategic plan that he had. At the end of the year, he knew he had a team with very little skill players, no tight ends, receivers that really couldn't make plays or be dynamic, a quarterback that didn't throw the ball effectively but ran the ball well. And so I think what he decided to do is get back to his roots, right? He needed to fix his offensive and defensive lines. He trades for Trent Brown, signs a couple guys in the defensive front to help him, and then try to improve the skill level of his team. And what I think people are missing the boat here a little bit, is there's a variance in the market, and this is all COVID related. The Patriots took a huge hit last year with all those opt-outs, and they got a ton of cap room. This time last year, the Patriots had no cap room. They couldn't offer Cam Newton a full contract. But this year, because of the opt-outs, they are one of the few teams that has cap room. And if you notice through free agency, the only teams that are really spending any money are the teams with cap room. The Colts are the only exception. They'll get involved, I'm sure, here sooner. Jacksonville spending money. The Jets spending money. The Bengals spending money. And so the Patriots, as they always do, when everybody zigs, they zag. When everybody zags, they zig. And so this year, they have all the money. And they can get whatever they want to get done because they have a chance. Now, the strategic part of that is they're signing young guys in their 20s, guys that have a chance to get to their second contract. So, or their third contract, and guys that have been durable and guys that have started games. You know, whether it's Matt Judon, whether it's Smith, whether it's Hunter Henry, these guys are young players that started games that have durability, and they're going to make their roster immediately better. Now, it's all got to come together, and that's going to be where Belichick steps in.
Okay, so you just talked about a lot of things there about the Patriots last year and the thoughts and what they're thinking going into this thing. And it's not, by the way, there's a lot of teams that have money every offseason, but their philosophy is we're not going to go out and spend or overspend. We're not going to do this. We're going to do what we got to do. The fact that Bill Belichick, the man who is at the top of everybody's football, the fact that he's going all in and doing this, I think this will have a ripple effect. Like years down the road, it's like, hey, remember Bill, whenever he built his last team, he went all in, built that team from cash and everything like that. Is this a turning of the tide, you think, in the NFL, that a lot more people will start to do this as the salary cap goes up to $250 million, they're saying, in 5 years from now?
But, I think 3 years from now, these deals won't look that bad. I think that because there were so few teams in competition for some of these players, even though he overpaid, it wasn't an overpayment to where you would typically see had there been a bunch of teams with cap room. Because teams are so tight on cap room, the marketplace and the agents are willing to take deals. I mean, Will Fuller's trying to hold out for a huge deal. Nobody wants to pay him that money because he's an eight-game starter. He's not 16. And that's what's going on with the receiver market. That's why we're having a little bit of congestion there. But for the most part, these agents have decided, look, there's no market. There's no other team getting money. I better take the deal. It's a good deal. It's an overpaid deal. Maybe it's not a top echelon deal, but I'll take it. Look, Warren Buffett and Belichick have a lot in common, and they constantly go against the grain. And I think this is one of those instances where Belichick felt like, I got to make my team better. But the value of my team isn't very good in terms of the skill level. I've got to improve. And we see Buffett do that sometimes when he takes on company. People say, why would he buy that company? And 3 years later, it looks like the right idea.
Shout out Warren Buffett creating Sirius basically as his own radio because he wanted to build more cars, which he owns all of them. So congrats. Shout out Warren Buffett for helping us out directly. Lombardi. So, for me, my weight comes in phases. Okay, my weight, my body weight. All right. And I'll get publicly body shamed because I'm a person who's on camera every single day. So people get to see me, at different versions of me. And I hear it and it actually motivates me into like, okay, I got to get down so that I can inevitably get up. Because if I keep getting up, these tweets are going to come in bulk and I don't want that in my life. Okay. So it's actually, now I don't think people should do it to other people, but for me, it's actually a nice little motivation. Like, yeah, they're right. I'm going to do this. You think Bill Belichick heard everybody saying this guy stinks? Do you think he heard everybody saying that the Patriots were going to suck forever? I don't know Bill Belichick at all, but I would assume there is a chance that he did hear what people were saying, and he goes, oh, is that right? Now, that might be a misread by me because I do not know him, but do you think he heard all that? And does that factor into any of his, like we need to expedite this whole process of getting back to greatness?
I think what he saw was a bad team last year. He knew it. I mean, he knew it, but he was hamstrung. He couldn't do anything. I think when you read his quotes about how they and he couldn't really change the cap. I think no one needed to tell him his team was terrible last year. No one needed to tell him that you can't play Ryan Izzo as your starting tight end. That's all he had. No one needed to tell him that, his skill players weren't dynamic and could make plays. So I think he's a realist. The one thing about Belichick that I've always admired about him is you could tell him the truth, and he doesn't want to hear some superlatives that you throw his direction. He wants you to tell him the truth. And the truth was they're no good. I think any other coach in that team would have won 3 games. He won 7. And so I think it was one of his better coaching jobs with really a very untalented, undescriptive team. And I think he realized he had to do it. Look, would he rather bottom fish? He'll start bottom fishing now, sure. But he needed to get better, and he strategically got better. The middle of the field. When he came into Cleveland in 1991, he handed me a piece of paper. And on that piece of paper, when he goes in the Hall of Fame, I'll give it to the Hall of Fame. It said basically how he wanted to build a team with the ability to control the football field down the middle. That's all he's done.
Do you have a picture of that? Do you have a picture of that piece of paper?
Yeah, I do. It's in my office downtown. I'll set a picture of it to you. Yeah,
you should tweet that.
Tomorrow,
you should tweet that out because that is how he's building this team right now. Like
down the middle, right? It's it's really not a secret. It's really straight down the middle where the tight ends control. Tight ends in football are like the knights in the chess game. They're so versatile. They can do so much. So if Belichick gets in 12 personnel with Smith and Henry, now do you play nickel to that? Do you play base to that? How do you want to match up? You want to play that? Well, they're
the fucking screen game.
So there's all different variations.
Bro, the screen game, they're allegedly in for a running back right now, Chris Carson, potentially Leonard Fournette. Do you think they'll get one of those deals?
It's going to be those two guys. The guy that I think is a target for teams to go get is, and I can't believe Denver did this, is Philip Lindsay. Philip Lindsay is the Wes Welker. Now, here's the other point I wanted to make today before we get there. In 2004 or 2005, the Patriots lost to your Colts, Pat, in a conference championship game.
Yep, hell yeah.
Remember?
I was in high school.
After the game, they had to fly to Hawaii because back then you had a coach in the Pro Bowl if you lost the conference championship game. When they got to Hawaii, that was not a vacation for those Patriot coaches. They were meeting every morning at 6 o'clock, and they were going over their team, and they were preparing for the next year. And they came out of those meetings with a strategic plan, and that plan included Wes Welker. That's how Wes Welker got there. So what he's doing this year is no different than what he did years ago. People just don't remember it. So I think that's the case, and I think this is what you'll see. The running back, Lindsey, how they only tendered him his first right of refusal. It opens up a possibility. Some team can come off from a one-year cap number at $7 million, and how do the Broncos match that? He's a great nickel back, a great running back that I think people go after. The other guy, Mike Davis at Chicago, I think he's an outstanding player. I would look at those two guys first.
Okay, so they're saying they're going to add a running back up there in New England. There's a bunch of guys that are still available with
the running back. It's non-existent. Nobody wants to pay for a back. I mean, Aaron Jones is a weapon. He's not a running back. He's a weapon. I've said that many times. He got paid because he can influence the passing game. That's why I like Lindsey so much.
Hey, you think Kyle Van Noy's going back to New England?
Ooh.
I did not hear that. He might be, but I haven't heard that.
Why do you now? Okay, so like Bud Dupree gets paid to go down to. Is there a break? We have a break. Here we go. Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it.
Oh.
Great cash, homie.
Okay, somebody just got paid, Lombardi. Is it a New England Patriot? Is it another player? My Sports Update, Ravens are bringing back one of their own, re-signing linebacker Tyus Bowser to a 4-year, $22 million deal with $12 million in guarantees per cap on NFL. Former second-round pick in 2017. Okay, congrats to Tyus.
Yeah, Bowser.
Getting paid, Mr. Bowser. Okay, let's get back to... I mean, that's big money. Good for him. They just lost Judon. They're going to have to make some other moves, I believe. They brought in a guard because replacing Yonda is going to be very difficult. Let's do that with the Patriots. They lose Tooney. That's a big deal, is it not? How do you think Bill goes around that whole operation with the offensive line?
Well, he's got Shaq Mason at one guard. He's got the kid from Michigan. I can't pronounce his name. He'll be the starting left guard. The question is center, right? I think with them signing Hunter Henry, it may not allow them to sign David Andrews back. I think David Andrews could end up in Miami. And if that's the case, then I think the Patriots will sign either Ted Karras or they'll sign Rodney Hudson. They'll sign somebody who becomes available at center, Dan Freeney, I don't know who, and then they'll plug him in at center. I think they made a decision that where are they going with Andrews, where are they going with Hunter Henry. They can't sign everybody. Took the guy that could put the ball in the end zone.
Congrats to Bowser, by the way. What do you got, Connor?
Mike Onwenu, unbelievable at guard, Michigan guy, big boy. But Michael Lombardi, what is the deal with Cam? If he comes out and plays, so-so, will Belichick go after a QB, or also will they draft a QB now in the first round?
I think the two things, it's a great question. So Cam's $14 million deal. So all these deals we read about online, they're all coming from the agents. So they're always higher than what we ever really think until we see the deal. Cam, it was $14 million. It really ends up being $3.5 million of guarantees, right? So I don't think Cam was guaranteed anything other than you can compete. Do I think the Patriots draft a quarterback? I don't think there's any doubt. If they like one, they'll take one. Do I think they move up to get one? I wouldn't be surprised if they did, if they like one.
So
if they really felt like that.
The only
Paisan.
the only reaction that has been negative to all these moves. Now, granted, a lot of people are talking about how they would have never paid these players this amount of money, but those people never had to put together an actual team, only fantasy teams. So it's kind of a little bit different. But when it comes to everybody's, they're like, if Cam Newton plays the way he played last year, they got no chance. And to Connor, what he was alluding to there, it's nice to hear you. Bill will go get another quarterback, right? He's not scared at all to go ahead. Like, Cam Newton is going to have to compete, you think? Like, you have an outright, he's going to have to compete for that role, which, by the way, is big news. Do you think that's a free agent, somebody? Do you think that's Stidham? Do you think they're potentially going to go? Like, how do you think that plays out?
I think it's still yet to be determined. I mean, let's say, I don't know if they can afford Jimmy Garoppolo now based on where he is in his cap. So it may not be a guy like Garoppolo at a high cap number, but I don't know who it could be. It could be a draft choice. More than likely, it'll be a draft choice. But I think all these guys they signed are going to have to come in and earn their right and compete. Even though they got big money, they're going to have to earn their job. They're not just going to be given it. That's going to be the first step. That's going to be the first meeting they all go to is, fellas, I don't care how much you make. The best players are going to play. And I think that's what he'll do. So, yeah. I think
Cam means that, too.
I think their feeling with Cam was, yes, early in the year he played better. They had no weapons. They want to give him a chance to have some weapons to see if he can play better.
He means that too. Like, it doesn't matter how much we pay you, you'll get the job if you're the best. Because a lot of people say that, and that's complete bullshit. I feel like Belichick's like, hey, listen, at this stage, I've already had enough L's, allegedly. If you were an L, go ahead and get out, go ahead and get out. What do you think happens with Sam Darnold before we let you go? I know you probably have a good network of people you still talk to around the NFL. It is reported that 8 teams were interested in Sam Darnold. Do you feel like that's bullshit? That's real? You think that they're going to move on? What do you think is going to happen with Sam Darnold?
I mean, I think they want a high second-round pick, somewhere between 33 and 39. Then they want a player. I think that's the asking price. Now, if somebody wants to give them a low 1, I'm sure they'll take that. But I think that's the ask right now. I know of one team that's really nibbling around it very much. I think the conversation really comes in. Are they going to take Zach Wilson? Do they like Zach Wilson that much better than Sam Darnold? I think that's the real conversation. So we'll see. I think you can have Sam Darnold. I think there's talk about internally how much better is Zach Wilson. That's what Joe Douglas is getting paid $6 million a year for. He's got to figure out who's really better. Is Zach Wilson significantly better than Darnold, or would I be better off taking the tackle from Oregon and having the 2 best offensive linemen at tackle in the NFL and building my team that way? I think that's the decision he has to make.
Well, it sounds like you made your decision there if you were.
I really have. I mean, I think that, look, I like Zach Wilson, but I think that, look, as I've said before, the greatest coach in the history of the sport, Don Shula, had Dan Marino from the time he was 24 to he was 29. They didn't make the playoffs. It's more, the NFL is more than just a quarterback. It's a complete team. You had Peyton Manning. There's no greater player than Peyton Manning. He went to 3 conference championship games in his 12 years at the Colts. That's light. That's not enough. He should have been to every conference championship game. He's that great. So you need a great team around him.
Did you just say you just took some shots there at the Colts organization? Whoa.
I did.
Yeah, we heard it.
Because I think what happens is you get caught up in, you think the quarterback, everybody thinks, what's the question everybody asks you? Can this guy lead us to a Super Bowl? And what I'm trying to say with that statement is not even the great Peyton Manning can lead you to a Super Bowl.
Got it. I mean, he did win a couple, but you're saying you need an entire team.
You need a team. You need all. It's all got to come together.
Hey, it's the greatest team sport in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate a man who's a part of our team, Michael Lombardi.
Yeah!
See you, Paisan. He's the best.
So smart.
I got a piece of paper that Bill Belichick gave me in 1991 when I went to Cleveland. Man, are you fucking kidding me? Let's get that thing out. Let's make an NFT of that thing.
Yeah,
Stats.
seriously.
Right now. Jesus. My brother's on vacation right now.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jay, listen. you're that graphic guy or whatever, that whole thing. We need an NFT of this photo of this thing from this guy.
Immediately.
And this guy would be Bill Belichick, and the thing he wrote down on paper is basically his manifesto on how you win. How you win football games.
Yeah.
Lombardi's holding it like Bill Belichick's manifesto, basically. And he's like, first day, drew it on paper. So here, this is what it do.
Saving it for Ken.
Do you have it? Oh, it's downtown in my office. Yeah, I got it. I'm like, hey, Lombardi, we should probably think about maybe bringing that thing out of the office, putting that somewhere secure.
Yeah.
I'll give it to Kent whenever he goes in. I'll let him know. It'll be my gift. You get my friend in the Hall of Fame, greatest of all time. Here's my gift to you. Big ass, Shrek-looking dude. What's his name? Dave?
David Henry Wallace.
Right? Yeah.
No, it's not. He's not Henry Wallace. He's such a good guy. But you guys, as soon as I said what I said, which was a little bit rude, I didn't mean to. Yeah, it's David Baker. Yeah, David Baker. He's a good guy. He came into our locker room, that Hall of Fame game, and had to tell us the game had been canceled, because the paint they put on the field, and then they put a tarp over top of it, which became like a magnifying glass with the sun on the paint, and then it melted, and the entire turf was just sticking together. We could not play a game like that. So he had to come in. Obviously, it's 900 degrees. It's the middle of the fall. That guy is massive in a full suit. This high school locker room is where you're at when you're playing in that Hall of Fame game. He walks in drenched in sweat, okay? And he's bigger than everybody on our team.
Yeah.
And he comes, he's so soft-spoken, He's like, boy, guys, how you doing? Like, this is the Hall of Fame. Welcome. We hope you all potentially end up here. And like this whole elaborate speech. And he said, and we will not be playing the game because we care about players more than anybody else around here. And we're like, all right, sir. All right, we appreciate you, man. He's like, but we would ask you guys to go out there and make like a tunnel for the Hall of Famers so we can do a little something because people are expecting something. I'm like, you got it, sir. Then he walks out and everybody goes, who the fuck is that Shrek-looking guy? Like, that's the head of the Hall of Fame. That guy is just the walking Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
When you see him, it's like, oh, there goes the NFL Hall of Fame. That guy. He is awesome.
He's like 2 times the size of Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
Patriots.
I would assume he grabs beer can. It's that similar
Same
picture.
size.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody want a peanut?
What is that? Is that Andre the Giant?
Hi, pretty lady.
Is that Andre the Giant?
Oh, yeah.
I had no idea we had an Andre the Giant impression. All right, let's get to a break. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Tuesday, March 16th. What? Team, bad news. I think the fucking Patriots are going to be good again. Huh? Hunter Henry signs. How much money they got up there? We all said it. We danced on Bill Belichick's grave. This team's gonna stink. New England Patriot fans, go back into your homes. You got nothing to cheer for anymore. Tom Brady's winning Super Bowls in other places. Your team stinks. That's what we all did last year. The people from the Revolution region, the New England fans, sat back, said smart-ass things, blamed other people, said it was wicked, and then they get into an offseason now, a free agency frenzy where their guy, Bill fucking Belichick, is writing checks to everybody. Here you go. Here you go. They're going to be good again. Then I'm going to take 2 beers. What? 3 beers. What? 1 vodka. What? What's the most beer you did in one night, you think, of one of those shows?
I think we went through 103 or 108. Just for myself, I'd always make sure to have about a 12 or 18 pack there. And
like a Justin Herbert, looks to be a pretty good football player. What? You say, hey, we want to make a big splash. He fired the entire fucking coaching staff. What? They moved on to a whole new crew.
What? Here's the thing when some people say, oh, shit, man, you got too much of that beer on. You don't even know how to drink beer. It's like, dude, fuck you. You don't know what I'm trying to do.
Can you hear me?
What?
Do I sound good? What? Is the connection there? What? Is my phone connected to your phone so that we can have a phone call?
What? When you shotgun a bunch of beers like that and you're drinking about half of each beer, you got a pretty damn good buzz when you come out. And that's a sacrifice I was willing to make every single night.
We have a bracket bonanza popping off. I think what I was most excited about for this show was the fact that we are giving away $51,000 to the winner of our bracket.
Wow.
$51,000 bracket bonanza, presented by us, obviously. It'll be in the March Madness Live app, I believe. It is something you have to download from the App Store. It looks exactly like this. It is the NCAA official thing, March Madness Live. Our challenge bracket bonanza will be up there as one of the ones you can join. There's a couple of different little things we have to talk about, though, with the $51,000 bracket bonanza. Although right now it sits at $51,000 to the winner, whoever has the best bracket. And we're going with traditional scoring, by the way. There is a new style of scoring. We're going traditional. If we become the biggest bracket bonanza challenge on the app, it'll go to $75,000. Yeah. $51,000 bracket bonanza will go to $75,000 bracket bonanza. Then if that thing gets to over 50,000 entries, which we do not believe is possible, that seems like a lot, that'll go to a $100,000 bracket bonanza. That's right. All you gotta do is fill out your brackets, get things right more than everybody else, and you could potentially win $51,000, maybe $75,000. And if we get 50,000 people to be a part of this bracket bonanza, that'll be a $100,000 giveaway just because we want to. Now, that March Madness Live app, you will see a lot of companies are at the top. A lot of people are at the top. They have their picture. They have it all beautiful. We do not, because we are not in association with them. There are other places that do bracket challenges. We cannot.
Giving the old white guys something to complain about. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
No more lies a day.
Hey, Tregs.
I got bills to
We love you,
pay.
bub.
It's my right.
The incredible voice that you're hearing sing right now is Jacob Trago,
I got wants.
lead singer for Year of the
I
Buffalo.
got hands and
Makes some folky songs.
Oh, yeah.
more than one.
He's got an angelic voice, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah.
So good.
This old road
I think. We don't know the words.
I know it's done before.
They sound good, though.
Yeah, they do.
Trago is currently beating the dog shit out of colon cancer. Keep it going, bro. I believe we're gonna put a shirt up for sale that'll have this for the brand shirt, but it'll have a blue ribbon on it, and I believe that's the color for colon cancer awareness or whatever.
Nice.
And then we'll give obviously all the
Proceeds.
they have to Trago and his family right now as they're battling or whatever. He sent me a text last night. I got a chance to chat with him. I did not know that there was a
Symbol?
a
Red?
color, yeah. Blue is the color. Go get checked, by the way. You have no idea what could potentially be going on. Doesn't matter your age. And then you just go ahead and beat the dog shit out of it like old Treg. Shout out to you, Trago, though. We miss you, buddy. Let's get some phone calls, shall we? Connor in Minnesota. This is a much more intelligent Connor on this show, I believe. Connor, what do you want to talk about?
I don't know if I go that far, Pat, but
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Not.
but I'm very pissed. Why in God's name is Hunter Henry going to the goddamn Patriots after Jonnu Smith signed yesterday? It makes no goddamn sense.
Yeah, Connor, we're all upset about it, Connor.
You know why.
Dang it!
We're all upset about it.
Yeah, I'm fucking pissed, man. It makes no sense. How the hell? Also, what the hell's their cap situation after yesterday?
Yeah, I think they still got money, by the way.
Cap's fake,
Everybody.
Well, the cap is fake. I mean, that is something you can. Connor, thanks for calling Minnesota. Sounds like he's a bit distraught. I think Connor just echoed the sentiments of a lot of NFL fans realizing that the chance of the Patriots being back is a real one, and none of us want to face that head on at all. Listen, I've always had the utmost respect for what the Patriots have accomplished. I've always done it. But nobody wants the Patriots to come back in the way that they're potentially coming back. Nobody wants to hear the New England fans dance on graves again. They had 20 years of success and happiness. This mustache stooge right here is 24 years old. 25, how old are you?
25.
25 years old. For his entire life that he remembers, it's just been the Patriots been great. It was awesome watching him stare down a potential inevitability of their team stinking and his life becoming Evan Fox's in the fall. Truly, it was close.
Yeah.
Like Gumpy, Dolphins fan, in the fall. There was a chance that was going to have to happen, and he got humbled by it. You know,
Yeah, he
started like kind of looking at things different. I'm still a Bill guy. I'm still thankful, but now that all this is happening, oh my word! It is unbelievable how confident every New England Patriot fan is. And by the way, they should be. You're winning free agency right now.
Yeah.
You got money. Will the team be able to come together so you guys can actually spit in people's faces? I mean, that's TBD. I guess.
Mr. Lombardi did say that's where Bill comes in, so I have the utmost faith. But can we answer more phone calls? Because I need more tears from these Vikings fans and everybody else.
Let's go to Greg.
around the NFL.
Let's go to Greg in Maryland. Greg, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, Pat? I'm going to take the other side of the road. Listen, the Patriots are going to finish 8-8. Cam Newton's going to be their quarterback. You spent $137 million, and it's going to go to nothing. And speaking of disappointing, Pat, I need to get your thoughts on the Bachelor last night. Shout out to Bachelor Nation. Serena P, baby!
All right. It was
Yeah, I'm glad he finished with that.
There's an idiot right there.
Yeah.
It was wild last night.
I don't watch The Bachelor, but we do have numerous in here that do watch it. Has made me question a lot of things about the boys in the office, but they stick by it. Foxy has a pair of socks that says Bachelor Nation on the bottom of them.
Wore them last night. Thank you so much for that gift.
Foxy has a mug that says I am a member of Bachelor Nation.
Drank out of it last night. Thank you so much for that gift.
Foxy has a shirt on the way that says I can't watch more Bachelor if I had to.
Thank you so much for that. Can't wait.
No, when I learned that Foxy was a big Bachelor guy, I mean, it was really a big day.
All in.
Diggs also a big Bachelor guy. Ty, I believe, is a frequent watcher.
Yep.
We can tie this back to football. Emmanuel Acho is now the host of The Bachelor.
After the final rose, so like the wrap-up show after the finale.
So what does that mean?
Basically, he interviews the Bachelor or Bachelorette and like the runner-up and the girl that won, and almost every single time it's 3 months after the show. So they've definitely already broken up. There's some salacious headlines going around, and that's basically what it was last night. Very uncomfortable for both people.
So this was a dude looking for a wife.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
He did not find one.
What's so funny, Gump?
Dude, looking for a
Gump, that's what The Bachelor is, right?
Yes.
So this was a dude. Was it the
Matt James,
the tall?
Yeah, the tall black dude who played
football.
football at Vanderbilt. Yeah.
Okay, he's friends with that incredibly handsome white.
Tyler Cameron. Yeah.
Yes, and not that they're not both, but he was in there.
Yes.
Did he not already pick somebody and they left?
So he did. He picked someone. The finale was, or I think it was last night. But he picked the final person.
Who gives a fuck?
I
do not.
Here we go. There we go.
How can anybody? Free cash, homie. No, I understand. I used to watch trash TV. Rock of Love, get me through. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. So shout out to Bachelor Nation, a very powerful group of people that has kept the show on. That is absurd for 20 plus years at this point. I assume that'll always go. Congrats to you guys doing your thing. Loyal fan base watching that shit. I do not, and Foxy's maybe the most diehard, but somebody just got paid in the NFL. Who is it? Shaquille Griffin is headed to the Jaguars, per source. Hearing it'll be on a 3-year deal worth up to $44.5 million, $29 million guaranteed. Seahawks losing their top cornerback, reports Mike Duger, also known as Michael Sean Duger, breaking the news in Seattle. His Twitter bio is him interviewing Pete Carroll. I'd assume he works in Seattle somewhere. Shaq Griffin gone from Seattle to Jacksonville. What's next for Seattle? There's conversation that their quarterback's going to be gone. There's conversation that running back's definitely going to be gone. Carson, what's going on in Seattle right now? Congrats to the Jaguars getting a great corner.
Yeah.
Seems like the AFC South is really making some fucking moves.
Uh-oh.
The Titans making moves. Jags are making moves. Urban Meyer's doing recruitment pitches. We're going to be on the edge, okay? That's where we're going to be. We're going to work out. We're going to try hard. This is the NFL now. Okay, I like that. Colts are just laying in wait, seeing what's going on. Diggs, I believe you have some details or you have an update on this?
There was two other pieces of news that broke. Bills offered Rob Gronkowski a contract. He picked the Bucks. Ooh. And then Kyle Long is staying in Las Vegas to work out for them today to see if he wants to stay there.
Here we go. Okay, Kyle Long, potentially going to be a Raider. Also got visits with the Chiefs. I'd assume other teams would also be interested in a player like Kyle Long. Gronk said he's only going to sign 1-year deals from now on. Might dip his toes into the free agency world. Told that to Kyle Brandt on 10 Questions with him. He's back with the Bucks for $10 million. Good for Gronk. Good for all these guys getting paid. Feels like the Patriots are winning this thing outright. Well, other teams in the next hour, get on board. The Jags are signing. The Patriots are signing. The Titans are signing. Who's next? Maybe you. Nah, you ain't getting shit. Just a bad show in about 6 minutes.
This is Remember the Titans. How's it going? My name is Pat McAfee. I do a lot of things. Today I am a professional analyst getting ready for the Thursday Night Football opener in beautiful Nippert Stadium with the Cincinnati Bearcats here at Higher Ground. This secluded world. Good squad, good place, excited for this morning practice. I'm obviously unbiased, but I'm pulling hard for Cincinnati to do well on Thursday night.
I like to say, I'll leave clipboard quarterback. This is awesome. And we got hopefully a future NFL kicker. Let's see what you got. Come on.
This is great for the brand. This guy's an athlete. Athlete. Hey, let's go. Hey, goodness.
They say kickers are athletes. We'll find out. Let's go.
Pull it up. Heads up. Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the hospitality. Have a great day. Let's go get
Going in, I'ma close the case. I can't wait no more, man. I gotta blow today. I'ma blow today. I ain't hearing what they say. Need a blue face, I've been caring about the race. I've been trying to eat, I need more than just a taste. Now they trying to talk, oh no, they should know their place. Man, I'm ballin'. This ain't cap, baby, now I feel like calling. From the pro, but I got the music poppin'. All the time, man, it started to get obnoxious. Now I gotta drive, yeah, I'm feeling nauseous. Gotta drive top down, then I hop out. I've been feeling hot now.
Thank you.
Okay, let's get the athletes.
Yeah, you got it.
Appreciate you coming.
Thank you. This has been so cool to see. Whenever we were driving out here into the sticks, my boys and I from Indianapolis, we were told by Coach Fickle it was a 40-minute drive from where we live. Absolute lie, hour and a half out here. But as we were getting out here, we didn't know what we were going to show up to. And this is such a cool scene here. I remember whenever I was in college, we won a lot of games, beat Cincinnati a couple times. It was a great day. But I remember my boys, right? Like I still am in touch with them every single day, every single week. We had this moment where we went from boys to become men. And you guys were a really young team last year, but got to experience a lot of wins. Like now the expectation level are high. And I can't wait to talk you all up on Thursday night against UCLA. UCLA refused to respond to my tweet. So I am a Bearcat fan on that opening night, and I cannot wait to watch you guys dominate. And I think this is such a cool thing. Coach, I can't thank you enough for your hospitality. I got a bunch of swag from you guys, too. This has been a cool day. Enjoy this, though. This doesn't happen a lot. Even when you get into the NFL, it's not like college. It's not like your boys. It's not like this. It's a whole different world that you'll remember forever. And I was honored to be here to watch you today, and I can't wait to watch you guys go win the thing on Thursday night and then throughout the rest of the season. Thank you so much. Cheers, boys. Thank you. First things first, 50 yards, trash can, drop into the bucket, accuracy contest. Apple, set go. Yeah, you got it. You got it. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, you got it.
All right, let's see how easy it is to catch now with the boys.
Time maybe to play down low.
All right, so you can throw the shit out of it and catch it. I think the XFL ball gets a big pass. By the way, I hit some bombs with it as well.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to that show. It is March 16th, 3/16 day. Stone Cold Steve Austin's day. Hour 2 of that day begins right now. Shout to Twine for that beat drop. Always beautiful. Yeah. First hour, we talked about a lot of things happening in the free agency world alongside a man named Michael Lombardi, who I think does have some connections to the New England Patriots team still. His son coaches there. I'd assume he still has some chats with Bill Belichick. And he talked about how when he first met Bill in 1991 at the Cleveland Browns organization, Bill Belichick basically wrote a manifesto on how he feels like the team will succeed. I assume Lombardi was in the personnel department. This is what we want. And in there, he talked about the middle of the field. Like, hey, we need to do this. New England has built their team completely up and completely differently than it was supposed to be in everybody's eyes. They've paid $137.5 million in guarantees over the last 25 hours, 3 minutes, and 42 seconds. It is unbelievable what's going on in New England. I'm happy for the guys getting paid, but we might see said seismic shift that old buddy was talking about in Arizona with some of these free agents. Still big names on the board. Kenny Galladay still out there. Trent Williams is still out there. Juju Smith-Schuster's still out there. Kyle Van Noy's still out there. Richard Sherman's still out there. Patrick Peterson's still out there. Shaq Griffin just got signed to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have been very active in this game. Speaking of active, being back active, Kyle Long is still available and a free agent at this point. There's a lot of names out there that people, Melvin Ingram is still, I mean, there is a lot of big names out there. Let's just assume they're all going to go to New England at this point.
Yeah. Are you surprised by the fact that Will Fuller was asking for a bigger deal this year with the cap being down?
No, I respect that. I mean, I mean that's what you're going to do. Like, hey, I'm a free agent. I like a bigger deal. This is what we're doing. And I assume, by the way, people only make excuses if it doesn't fit what they want to do. So now negotiations always going to be negotiations, but if a team wanted Will Fuller, now this is what Lombardi told us, right? Is that Will Fuller was asking for a bigger deal, and that's kind of holding up the entire wide receiver market. Haven't seen many big splashes other than Aguilar and Bourne, but the Galladays, T.Y. Hilton, Juju, Will Fuller, there's still a lot of wide receivers out there. He said there's a logjam because what Will Fuller's asking for is not, available in the current market with where the salary cap is with Uncle COVID and the salary cap going down $15.5 million. So the interesting thing is, how long will Will Fuller do that? Let's assume then he's only going to sign a 1-year deal because he wants to hit actual free agency a year from now. And I thought about that, and we talked about that a couple times here over the last week. It's like, if you're a guy who this is your first time becoming a free agent, you're about to get paid, you think. And the salary cap does what it does, and the world is what it is. And although anybody can make a contract happen, we're watching that with voidable years and all that shit. It is a much easier way to make money whenever the free agency frenzy is a real one, and it's not just a couple teams that are in play. And it seems like that's going to happen next year, the year going forward. If you believe what's going on in Texas, there's a full stadium for the Rangers. Down in Florida, there's going to be a full arena in Jacksonville for UFC. I mean, there is just allegedly a lot more money coming. I would sign a 1-year deal. I'm amazed that all these long-term deals are happening. Yeah. Congrats to the teams for making them happen, and congrats to the agents. But if you're Will Fuller, I mean, you're definitely asking for a long deal. Yeah, I would. No. Are you serious?
What?
Oh, my God. This has been a week where people have been getting paid. This has been a happy week. All those years of training, all those years of practice, the missed parties in high school, the early morning runs, all of this comes to getting paid. And that's what the Brinks Week is all about. That followed last week, which is what we just saw when that Grim Reaper would come out and people were getting cut out of nowhere. People were getting fired. Contracts were getting ripped to shreds that everybody thought could never happen. Now, Evan Fox in the back room is saying, from the clouds, the Grim Reaper Massacre Week has rolled into another week. What happened? At My Sports Update, Vikings are expected to release veteran D tackle Shamar Stephen after adding Dalvin Tomlinson per Kaplan. Started all 16 games last season. Move saves $3.7 million in salary cap space. Oh, no. Sorry about it, Shamar, dude. I mean, to be honest, I love what Shamar's doing. I'm not 100% sure I knew he was on the Vikings and that he was potentially going to be $3.7 million next year. And that's on us. We should do some more research. But look for, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
Bingo.
Oh. Right?
Yep.
So in this free agency world, when you're seeing all these signings, there's a chance, right, that what goes up must come down. Yeah. There's going to have to be some equaling out, balancing the checkbooks on the other side. So I think what we're potentially just all realizing here together is that although Brinks Week is a happy one, I feel like when the Brinks truck comes to one door, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Massacre Week will continue, won't it?
No. The Reaper.
Shamar. Got it.
He'll get picked up soon.
He will.
Yeah.
Started all 16 games last year.
Yeah. $3.7 million, started all 16 games. He'll get a job. He'll be back out there. Yeah. And all these other guys that are inevitably going to get cut too and continue Massacre Week, you guys are good enough players.
Fine job.
You guys are good enough players. Yeah. Now you're going to have to prove yourself again, which you probably didn't think was going to happen because you were going to be a multimillionaire yet again the next year, and that's what a deal said that you made with a franchise. You're going to pay me this. I'm going to do this. And they said, no, well, you will, but not anymore. Okay, you'll do that somewhere else. That you'll get a job somewhere else. But boy, for every up, there's a down.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
And that's kind of this world, isn't it?
Man.
Einstein.
It's a damn shame.
E equals MC squared. Wow.
Well done.
Anyways, let's go to the phones, I guess. Man, everything was so positive.
I know. People getting paid.
I mean, that just smacked. We are back. Let's make some money. Hey, dreams coming true. Who got paid? Who got signed? Via Tom Pelissero, the Arrow, the Chargers have re-signed kicker the Money Badger, Mike Badgley, to a one-year deal per source. The Money Badger stays in LA. Congrats. Yeah. Congrats, Money Badger.
It's good to be back.
It's great to see positive stuff.
Yeah. God.
When you really dive into that contract, not necessarily great for the Money Badger. Okay, one-year deal, another prove-it year. I'd assume the guarantees aren't high. Going to have to make the team, going to have to compete. But if the Money Badger can get back to kicking how he was kicking, whenever he was absolutely slaughtering footballs in the Chargers, like we have our guy for the next 10 years, that'll be good news. Had some downs last year. Chargers were potentially in the market for a new kicker, everybody thought. Bring the Money Badger back, straight out of the U. Let him prove himself again. Then he'll get a deal next year. Good for the Money Badger.
Hey, baby, Money Badger. Good work, baby.
He has an interesting swing. His swing is an interesting one.
How so?
He kind of like sits back a little bit, parks it, and he does kill balls though when he hits them.
Yeah, slaughters them.
He's good. He was with the Colts.
Let him go?
Training camp, yeah. Vinatieri. I think he was with Vinatieri, which is always good for people.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how much you can learn about, battling through some potential business of the NFL or potential uncertainty which comes with every kick. I don't know how you learn that from going through a training camp with Vinatieri or something like that. But there's other things. Robbie Gould, Brandon McManus, Cody Parkey.
Yeah.
Shout out Bears. Shout out Bears.
Bear down.
The Bears aren't really doing much, huh?
Not much, yeah.
Well,
hold on.
I
heard about what you're about to say.
They are circling around Andy Dalton.
You're saying they're
I also
sniffing around?
49ers.
They're sniffing around? Wow.
That'd be huge.
Smell the gunpowder?
Listen, everybody talks about the gunpowder for the Red Rocket. Everybody talks about and wants to talk about Andy Dalton strictly because of his hair color, okay? Strictly because he was with the fucking Bengals for a long time and succeeded with them. You got to remember, Andy Dalton got flattened, paved, rolled over as quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Nobody helped him up. No. What did Andy Dalton do? Got back on that horse, became cowboy again, gets in the huddle. They start winning games.
Oh, yeah.
In the midst of absolute chaos down there in Dallas, Andy Dalton starts winning games. Guess what he did in Cincinnati? No indoor practice facility. They gave Hendrickson $60 million or something like that. Congrats to him, by the way, down to the Bengals. 32 million guaranteed or something like that. $60 million. I had no idea there was that much money in the Bengals organization. Because if they're doing that for a great pass rusher last season for the New Orleans Saints, if they're doing that, you got to think they're building an indoor facility at some point for these guys to train in, get those extra reps. Shout out to the Who Day. Yeah, Who Day Nation. The Bengals organization seems to be buying in a little bit.
Yeah, Who Day.
If they're spending $60 million on him, you got to think that they're going to at least build an indoor facility, which takes me back to the point. Andy Dalton was winning games with the Bengals team when the organization didn't even try to win. I would assume that Andy Dalton still got some good football left in him. Now, is Andy Dalton Deshaun Watson, which was allegedly going to be a Bear at one point? Is he Russell Wilson, which was allegedly going to be a Bear at one point very recently? I would assume that, a lot of people are saying, oh, no. But Andy Dalton would not do what Foles and Trubisky did last year in that Bears offense. I would like to say that would be an upgrade. Andy Dalton would be an upgrade over Mitchell Trubisky, how he played last year. Not his potential. Mitchell Trubisky has the potential to be Maserati Mitch. MVP Mitch, okay? Nickelodeon's valuable player, okay? I think he has the potential to be great. Andy Dalton's going to come in there and he's going to do what Andy Dalton does. That's all he does. You have no idea what's coming with Mitch. You have no idea what's coming with Foles. You have no clue what's happening. Andy Dalton would be quite an upgrade, but he is not what they thought they were getting just a day or two ago. That was Russell fucking Wilson.
Well, he's a nice consolation prize.
Yeah.
You think you're getting Rush, you think you're getting Deshaun, but hey, we still got Dalton. Guess what? If they need a guy to go out and go 9-8 next year, Dalton can do that. Dalton's their guy.
Yes, he can.
He's their
This
guy.
is when you go to the county fair and they ran out of the teddy bears, the big ones, and they give you like a fish instead.
Yeah,
There's
well,
the equivalence.
You know what? Those goldfish, by the way, those goldfish are
No,
real.
I'm talking about the beta fish.
Oh, you're talking about the ones that just die.
Jeez.
Not the alpha fish.
Those are warrior Not the alpha ones.
Well, it depends as long as you have them in the right water. Because those things are real tough around other fish. You should see them in water that isn't perfect to their standards. They die.
Chicago water, not good for Andy Dalton.
I think that beta fish that you're referring to is Andy Dalton because you're saying he's a downgrade from the big stuffy fluffy animal at the carnival that was Russell Wilson. I think that's rude. Andy Dalton swims in any river.
That's right. Bring him. I mean, hey, the Atlantic Ocean would love Andy Dalton. Bring him to New England. He'd be a perfect guy for Cam to go head to head with every day.
And you could probably get him $5-6 million.
Oh, at most. That's the max. That's the max right there.
Well, we don't know what any of these deals are, though. Remember, Michael Lombardi said they'll put out that a deal is worth $14 million, and it's actually $3 million. So it's a lot of line. What's going on?
Another day when you just got to wait a little bit.
Yeah,
but
they'll
it'll
turn
come
on
out
Cam.
that he is out on Cam.
Yeah,
Not at all.
Yeah, you are.
I'll go grab the jersey right now and put it on.
From day one of Cam Newton being announced as the Patriots quarterback, you were out on Cam Newton being the Patriots quarterback. Day one. Stud him. I mean, he'd come in and back up, stud him. Remember that? That's what you said day one.
I taped over the Brady jersey for Cam Newton. I was in on Newton from day one. But I'm more in on competition.
We're talking about on the outside.
I'm more in on competition.
Yeah, but we're talking about you on the outside.
But I love competition.
You put a jersey on that doesn't cover out how you feel on the inside.
Well, I love competition on the inside.
No, but on the inside, you're not bought in on Cam Newton.
I'm bought in on
competition.
You're buying the jersey.
Yeah.
You're right.
He had competing with him.
Yeah, you didn't even think that Cam Newton deserved the number one because Pat the Patriot is the elder statesman on the team who wears the number one. Now, I wouldn't say you can put all these jerseys on, okay? You can do all the liking on every iconic saga production that is out there. You can do that, okay? And you can go in the comment section and be like, let's go, Cam.
Love you, Cam.
Love you, Cam. You can do all that. Yeah. But inside, when a moment pops up for you to showcase whether or not you're all in on Cam Newton, you're out on him. And by the way, you're not the only one. I think a lot of people are saying that. You shouldn't feel that bad, but we just don't want to hear the fugazi bullshit around the office about you loving Cam Newton.
No fugazi bullshit. I love winning. And guess what? We didn't do a whole lot of that last year. You know, we can go back to the 8 touchdowns, 10 picks. But like Lombardi said, he was throwing to Izzo at tight end. Here we go. We got a whole new team.
Yeah.
When Cam Newton comes out and he dices every single defense in the league, we're going to have a whole new competition.
Okay, so I just want everybody to know that somehow in this particular studio right now, everybody but the Patriot fan is on Team Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Huh, that's interesting.
Absolutely.
I'm the only one with the jersey, though.
Well, that's what we're saying, though.
Yeah, well, so I love competition. Look, boys, I don't know how many times I have to say I love competition. I love competition. I love competition. If we have another quarterback who comes in and plays better than Cam, that's my quarterback. If we have another quarterback that comes in and plays worse than Cam, Cam's my quarterback.
Yeah, listen,
competition.
I understand. He got no loyalty with Cam Newton. I understand.
My loyalty resides with Bill Belichick.
I understand it. By the way, stick with it. But Bill has also come out and said that, he's not all the quarterback position. We might not be done. He said that last year during that draft show. Rich Eisen asked him a question, and they had a good reporter because they did that 100 show. And he asked about the quarterback room, and he basically just rattled off a bunch of things, and it alluded to the fact we are not done in the quarterback room. Like whatever just happened, I assume he will not be done at all. But what we're saying to you is enough with the Cam Newton bullshit out here whenever we're not in the show about how, he's going to do this. He's going to slice and dice the entire NFL. Right. And you're like, well, let's bring in some competition for him. You know what I mean? Like, let's try to get him out of his job.
Well, it's never going to stop. I'm sorry. I'm just going to tell you guys now it won't stop. Pressure makes diamonds, and competition builds pressure. And we need competition.
Diamonds. You should have.
That would have been.
God.
Already got him.
Yeah.
I mean,
hey, pretty good.
Come on.
Be as is, dude.
Be as is. Don't forget.
Let's go to Amar in Seattle. What's going on, Amar?
Boys, I'm up here in the top left part of the country. The sun is out. I'm going to crack open a cold one.
What?
Cam Newton.
What?
Signs for another year.
What?
Judon.
What?
Hunter.
What?
Sanu.
What?
Horn.
What?
Aguilar.
What?
And to cap it off, Russ and Team 3 want and I'm here for it, baby.
Okay, so I was a little personal there at the end because he is in Seattle and he's kind of dancing on the graves of the Seahawks fans who want Russell Wilson out of there. Very interesting to hear caller be that confident, that smooth, right into a what chant here on 316. Shout out to Amar. Good call. It does feel like everybody on earth, doesn't matter where you live, if it's from Maine to Florida to the southern tips of California to the northern tips of Washington or Oregon. Oregon's in between them.
Oregon's below Washington, I believe.
Which is then California.
Yeah.
By the way, younger me would have thought California straight to Washington, by the way. I would have thought Oregon a little bit inland. Turns out Oregon's got a pretty beautiful little coast.
Nice.
Oregon got a pretty beautiful little coast there.
Beautiful drive.
Yeah, do some meth up there. All good.
Yeah. Anything you want.
Anything you want. But all the way up to Seattle, the northern left part, and all the towns in between, not happy about what's going on in New England. Not happy. Nobody's happy about what's going on in New England right now. He's pumped because he's a Patriots fan, but he's just rubbing it in everybody else's face like every other Patriot fan is doing right now.
Do you think we're actually going to see anything happen with Russell Wilson here soon?
What's that?
Do you think we'll actually see anything happen with Russell Wilson here soon?
I would assume that the answer to that is a no. I would assume that that's not going to happen immediately. This could potentially be a fallout situation after free agency signing, like where's everybody sitting? But then did we think what New England did yesterday was ever going to happen? No way. Yesterday, what New England did came out of nowhere because nobody knows Bill like that. They keep that shit locked so tight. When he started just spending, it was like, oh my God, almost like we had no idea. So if Russell was dealt, I think we would have the same amount of surprise as what happened yesterday. But I think inevitably it has to happen. The Deshaun Watson thing, that's him and the owner. They don't like each other. The head coach has obviously had to answer a bunch of questions about this, and he hasn't even coached the guy yet. He's had one meeting with him where he tried to talk to that. But Deshaun, I think his bigger problem is with who owns the building, not who's in the building, right? Who's in the locker room and in everything like that. I think that one's more repairable in Houston than this Russell Wilson stuff is because of how much public beef it has been between Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson. Now, this might all be bullshit, by the way. It might all be complete fabricated nonsense, which happens in the NFL all the time, especially with the internet, where it's like the telephone game where one thing is said and then it's boom, 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 it goes. But they have not come out and said this is not true. Nobody's come out and said that. I'm not saying that's fair to them that they would have to come out and say it's not true to something that's fake, but that's what happens when you're one of the 32 NFL head coaches and one of the top 5 quarterbacks of all time allegedly coming out. That stuff is going to have to be talked about. I don't know if that one's repairable. I think Russell Wilson moving is much more likely than Deshaun Watson. but I don't know when it's going to happen. Hey, do you wait for teams to figure out what their salary cap is? Then do you probably, if you're Seattle, it's like, well, it has to happen before the draft because we got to do that. I mean, there's so much that comes into play there, and I think a lot of it is also revolving around them having to pay $40 million in dead cap space next year if he's traded.
And unfortunately, his list of teams is running out.
Yeah, Chicago.
That's it. Unless the Saints, I mean.
Well, Chicago, those fans, I mean, we just talked about it. They had Russell Wilson 3 days ago.
Yeah. The people are turning on Russ as well.
Where, in Seattle?
Yeah. The 12s have had enough.
You know, the 12s, by the way, pretty powerful entity over there.
It's not the same Russ they knew, unfortunately.
Whoa. We don't know. We don't know what you're saying right there. Now, listen. That is a vicious attack on the character that is Russell Wilson, please.
He has changed, my friend.
Oh, wow. No.
It's wild. They would pick Pete Carroll over Russell Wilson.
Absolutely.
That's wild.
Well, then you got to think about the relationship that Pete Carroll has with Schneider. Schneider?
Yeah.
John.
Schneider, right? John Schneider. Pete Carroll and Schneider's relationship probably much tighter.
I believe they're very
than
close.
Schneider's relationship with Russell Wilson, right? Pete Carroll talks to Schneider probably every single day. They talk about how they're hand in hand. At one point, I think there was a rumor that Pete Carroll was actually making the personnel decisions, and it came out, no, we just worked very well together. If those two have the owner's ear, you know what I mean? I wonder. You know, because that's who would have to make that decision. It's the owner. The owner has to go, are we picking Russell Wilson or are we picking Pete fucking Carroll? Yeah. And if those two have a relationship with the owner, which they probably do because moves have to get made, business decisions, I would assume Russell is loved by the owner. Okay, I appreciate everything, you know, but how tight is the relationship? Do they, you know what I mean? You got to think about personal. Just like Cal McNair, you got to think about like humans are making these decisions at the end of the day, and how are those relationships set up? How deep are they? If he picked Russell Wilson over Pete Carroll and the next head coach wasn't good, it's like you just got to think about all of the potential fallback bullshit of that decision, because Russell Wilson versus Pete Carroll became an anonymous source headline here, the last 3 weeks or whatever. That one anonymous source who came out and buried Russell Wilson in name of Pete Carroll, like, what do you think, Pete Carroll, blah, blah, blah. That was a pretty vicious shot. Yeah. And it was, you didn't hear anybody come out afterwards. Like Pete Carroll I didn't know who said that. Maybe he didn't, maybe we missed. I didn't know who said that. That is not how we feel, blah, blah, blah. And Russell, after his team said something, he went and did an interview. It wasn't like he was like, and nobody speaks for me, that isn't me. You know, so it's like, that is a reality TV show going on right now in Seattle and in Houston, I guess.
It'll be interesting, too, because like with the owner, you said, I'm sure Russell had a great relationship with Paul Allen, but then when he died and, you know, it's like his daughter who's taken over the team, like, has she been involved at all? Do they have any kind of relationship? Like, does she have any ties to him? Because if she doesn't, it makes it probably a little bit easier to be like, all right, fuck it, get him out of town.
Yeah, well, just $40 million cap hit, though, for no reason. Are you serious?
What?
$40 million 1 year? Yeah, that's a lot of money. Yeah, and then Schneider and Pete start drawing out, but we can kind of, and other teams have this and now. And if that's happening, by the way, what a toxic situation in Seattle.
Yeah.
If these conversations are happening, this is absolutely terrible. This is all us, just what potentially could be.
Conjecture.
I don't want people saying that we think that's actually happening.
Oh.
No.
Whoa. Asking questions.
It could be happening. This could be happening.
It's possible.
You know what else is possible? We have a guest joining us now who might be in my top 3 teammates of all time, like humans that I enjoyed as a human. This guy, one of the most criminally underrated wide receivers in NFL history, straight out of Mount Union, ladies and gentlemen, Pierre Garcon. What up, dude?
What's up, Pat? How you doing, man? Love the intro.
Hey, you deserved it, dude. You never cared about that type of thing. You know what I mean? I think coming out of Mount Union, you were just like, chip on my shoulder, I'm a hard work. I'm not going to worry about what everybody else is saying. But as I've gone into this world, nobody really talked about Pierre Garcon as they should have. I think you deserve better. It was an honor being your teammate. Now, let's talk about some things here real quick that you've got into post-football. Your golf game looks like you're not going to be too shitty. You're getting really into that?
I'm working on it, man. It is very, very tough, but I'm working on it. Golf is harder than football.
Do you think you have a chance of being great, though? Is there any moments where you hit some good shots? You're like, I got it. I figured this out.
Man, that happens every day because there's one good shot. I carried it 300 yards, and I was like, oh, man, like that was good. But, I can't do it consistently like the guys on TV. But I'm watching those guys. I'm taking notes, and I'm practicing. It's something I want to do in the future.
Are you trying to become great at golf?
I'm trying. I got free time. There's a lot of golf courses down here in Miami and West Palm Beach, so I'm after it.
Okay, it is March 16th, 2021. You just said that you're going to try to master golf. If he makes it onto the PGA here, it started right here. Future us. We knew it was going to fucking happen. We knew it was going to happen. Congrats, man. That's awesome. You're also you're an entrepreneur now. You have Speed Aid compression, which we got some at the office, by the way. I was never into the compression socks. I don't fully understand what they do. I'll put them on, though, and I feel like I'm faster. How did you get into this? What do they do, Pierre?
Oh, man. As you know, we travel across the country a lot playing football, and our training staff gives us compression socks to wear for our swelling knees and swelling ankles. And we know good quality. I had to wear them for 11 years because I actually had to run on the football field and get tackled and get hurt and had to ice tub and all that. When I couldn't ice tub to keep the blood flowing to heal, I wore compression socks. And I actually started liking them even more and more, started looking forward to compression socks. And I wore them in games. I wore them, during the off season. I wear them now when I'm walking around on the golf course. I'm walking a lot more than that. So I'm definitely, it's definitely aiding me and helping me stay healthy. And the blood flow is keeping me less achy and less soreness, to tell you the truth.
Well, if I wear these, am I going to lose weight?
Yes, you will lose weight.
That's
you will
good.
move faster.
All right.
Because I'll feel better because then I want to move more, right?
It's going to help the boomstick get back to where it's at, to where it was at.
Hey, this thing used to be worth a fuck, didn't it? I mean, Pierre, it used to be worth something. Let's go back. Congrats on Speed Aid compression, by the way.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, man. Please check me out. It's on Amazon, so please help me out, guys. I really appreciate it. It's great quality.
And by the way, I think people only think like if you're hurt, you need it or something like that because it used to be like a big rehab thing. It's like, you wear that day to day a little bit. It helps out a lot. The trainers push it like it is pushed very highly. Congrats to you getting in there and knowing what you're talking about. Now, right now, hey, no problem. Right now, Pierre, we're in the middle of a free agency frenzy. You were a free agent. After you left the Colts, you go to Washington, obviously. And I remember there was conversations like, we're not going to be able to afford Pierre. Like, he's not going to come back. It was a bum, but it's a part of the business. When you became a free agent, what was your mindset? And how did you end up, ending up where you went after you left Indianapolis?
Free agency, it's changed now from back then. So it's really like recruiting. You get notice of who's interested in you before free agency opens up. But, you kind of have your perception or you have the idea of where you're going to end up at and what cap space that they have. What offer they bring to you is what they bring to you. But you kind of have an idea to expect something from, other teams outside of your current team. How did
they recruit you? This obviously never happened. I was with the Colts.
Well, it goes through the media where media's talking. They're saying, hey, this team needs a receiver. Who's the receiver coming out? They need a young receiver or an older receiver. They need a young player or an older player. It's kind of like the media leaks it out because the team tells what they're looking for. The media kind of knows what the team's looking for, and they kind of play matchup, and you kind of go along with it, and you just always keep your eyes open or your ears open because at the end of the last minute moment, any team can come in and sign somebody off their free agency.
Was there ever? How many years did you sign for after your first free agency there?
5 years.
Is there ever a thought in your eyes to go shorter? Or because now it feels like with this salary cap with COVID, there's a lot of guys who are potentially going to have to take a 1-year deal, maybe a 2-year deal. I don't want to say it's a prove it deal, but it's like a get paid until there's an actual free agency deal. Did you want the longest deal possible, or was it? Yeah.
Yeah, back then, it was take the long security deals, but the 3-year deals are good things now because the market goes up yearly and we can see it. So if you're not tied into your contract for so long, get in and get out. 4-year deals, 4-year deals are great, but those 1-year deals, nobody's happy about those. 2-year deals, a little bit more security, but anything can happen in one football season that you can't control. But those 3-year deals, those are where it's at. So the market grows 15%, 20% after that. You know, you're still doing the same job, and you're still young, and you're making plays.
Pierre, they're saying the salary cap's going to be $250 million in 5 years. The NFL just prints cash, dude. It's unbelievable.
It's a great game. It's a great game.
You did a lot off the field whenever you were playing. It felt like you were one of the ambassadors from Haiti for about, like, it legit felt like that whenever you're going on a run. It's awesome to see what you've gotten into off the field. Did you always want to do that? How did you know, like, not only business, but you do a lot of philanthropy? I saw you down in Haiti there for like 2 years. It felt like you were there every other month, like building and doing things. Like, did you know you were always going to do that, or how did that all come to be?
Well, it was part of how I grew up. I grew up in the community. I grew up with a single mother, 3 older sisters, and we didn't have, like a family where everything was in-house. And we needed help from the community. The church was the big place that I got a lot of help from. The school teachers was a lot of places that I got help because they were my parents when my mom was at work, trying to keep the bills, paid. So that's why I always enjoy giving back and being a part of the community, because there are kids out there that need help, just, not even monetary help. They just need guidance and where to look, where to go, where to stay away from. And that's what I love doing. So I love to be a positive example of, how to be, what to do, and how to, get to where you're trying to go without, begging. So I love giving back to the community, because that's how I got where I'm at. The community put me here. They supported me.
This dude's taking pictures with presidents. Jeez. Bro, I was seeing photos where he is like putting a presentation together for world leaders. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? What is going on over there? But it's awesome. It's so
I appreciate
cool.
it.
No problem. Where all did you, so obviously you go to Washington. Did you end in Washington?
Went to San Francisco for 2 years after that.
Okay, so Indianapolis, Washington at the time, and there's been exposés and there's been a lot talked about everything happening behind the scenes over there. I'm not expecting you to dive into that. But San Francisco, was there any noticeable difference the way organizations were run? Like, is it as soon as you walk in a building, you think to yourself, like, oh, this team's not going to win or this team's going to win? Is that a real thought that you had?
Oh, yeah. Well, coming from Indianapolis, you think every team is the same way, or every organization is ran different. It's also because you're in different parts of the country, different things have bigger priorities on others in different parts of the country. But yes, organizations are ran different, but at the end of the day, you're still playing football. You're still getting out there. My job was to catch the ball and get more yards than I was expected to get on the play. And I always had that mindset to keep doing that. And if I kept doing it, I'll stay in the building a lot longer.
So, Yak, were you just trying to kill? You ran so angry. You're so mad. You might have been the most angry runner in the history of angry running. It was unbelievable.
It was me trying to show effort, trying to show that I'm giving it all. And coaches see that, players see that, and owners see that. And that's why, I got lucky and stayed around for 11 years.
Well, you didn't get lucky. You worked your ass off and you're unbelievable. But you come out of Mount Union, okay, and I assume incredible quarterback throwing you the ball. I assume that Mount Union quarterback was fucking unbelievable.
Legend.
He is a legend. But then you come to Indy and it's Peyton Manning. Was there any moments, and I assume there was, but was there any moments where you either caught the ball and you're like, I cannot believe fucking Peyton Manning is throwing me this ball? Or was there any moments where you're like, oh, okay, like this is why Peyton Manning's Peyton Manning? And how often did that happen early?
It happened every time for the first year. I actually dropped the first pass that he threw me. It was a fade in practice, and it was just so nerve-wracking that I dropped it in. And it was, he got upset at me, and I tried not to drop it in the moment. That didn't happen. I kept dropping it after a while, and it was me getting the moment like, damn, this is Peyton. This is why he is good. This is why he is crazy. And this is Peyton that I'm dropping passes or I'm tripping. But there was times in games where the same way we ran them in practice, we were running them in the game, and it was successful. It was like how we drew it up. And that's why I was like, dang, this is why he is Peyton. This is why he's on top of everything. He knows when you don't run your route full depth. He knows when you don't know what you're doing. He lets you know what to do so that he's not hit on a blitz. He's letting you know when you're hot. It's a lot of details that he's giving you, and it makes sense because we went over him so many times in practice. And that's why I was like, wow, this is Peyton. He's he is why he is like that. And Reggie and Marvin, those two guys were, another great leaders to learn from. Reggie worked super hard. Marvin was naturally just a beast, and he worked hard at it. Reggie said he watched Marvin, and that's how he became Reggie. And, it was like, hey, Coach Clyde always like, hey, watch Reggie because he's how you want to be. So it was those guys just watching like, all right, this is why they are how great they are.
Now, when you're on the field with Peyton, everybody has to know. Everybody has to see the field the exact same way, right? Like that is like, hey, you have to see it. Is every offense like that you've experienced?
No.
Why not?
No.
Why not?
No.
Is it because Peyton? Is that why?
Say it again.
Is that because of Peyton? Is that why that's why it's a Peyton?
Honestly, that has some reason to do it because Peyton has a lot more experience and he takes control of the play calling and huddling. But I'm sure he didn't start off his career like that. But, different systems have different things that they're trying to attack on defenses. Some systems let their best player beat the team. Some systems like, hey, this play is going to work. Some systems are like, hey, read the field. So it's football. It's different. But Peyton has a little bit more, control over every play. And, when you're playing with younger quarterbacks, you can't expect that. When you're playing with, older quarterbacks, it's more comfortable, more laid back, more communication instead of more physical, assets.
Yeah, you got to experience him whenever he was, by the way, at his smartest, at his in his actual prime. And not that he ever fell out of that, but you didn't get to experience the younger. I wonder what the younger Peyton was like, because he probably, you know what I mean? Do you ever think about that? Like thinking back to some practice moments, like think about a younger Peyton who had that in him, but he couldn't necessarily do it yet. Maybe, you know what I mean?
I remember those days because Reggie used to tell me stories, and he was telling me how Peyton was a lot harder, a lot harsher, a lot,
I would assume
controlled. But he worked at it to gain that control, that trust in the Tony Dungy and Jim Caldwell. Tony Dungy was there before him, but Tony Dungy gave him that trust, and he took it and never gave it back.
Never. And then, by the way, the whole building, it's not just Tony Dungy. Everybody was like, Peyton, you don't want this guy on the team? Okay, you got it. We'll fucking get him out. We will get him out of here. Okay, you like? All right, he will stay. Listen, we got to make some other.
That is very true.
Yeah, we got to do what we got to do. What do you have, Ty?
Pierre, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but was it difficult when you did go to Washington and you didn't really have any, not pushing you like Peyton did, or in the moment were you just happy to, be in a new place and to be getting paid, or like was it tough when you didn't have someone demanding excellence from you at all times?
No, it was different when I left Indy. Indy was amazing, and I enjoyed it. I miss Indy every time. I was watching to see what their, how the scores are. Even now with Frank Wright, he was my receiver coach for one point, and he was always a great guy. He had came over to Philly and with Arizona and all those places. We always follow up with guys that I started off with, just like I keep up with Pat and all those other guys. But when I was in Indy, I've learned the system and learned how to prepare. And that's why I took over to Washington. The system was different, but it was still just preparing for football. The playbook is different. What you're reading against the defenders are different. Where you line up is different. But it's still like, hey, prepare your body, prepare your mind for 16, 18 games of the season. So it was a little different, but I've had learned how to prepare as a professional. Like watching Reggie Marvin, Dallas, Jeff Saturday, Gonzo, Joseph Adai, all these leaders in front of me. I became one of those guys in DC, but it wasn't the same organization. A lot more missing pieces in DC, but we did well. We made the best of it, and we grew as we got better.
Hey, Kirk Cousins is very thankful for Pierre Garcon.
Mm-hmm.
Very thankful for Pierre Garcon. What do you have, Connor?
Yeah, Pierre, when you were with the football team, different name back then.
That
was a close one. Was Kyle Shanahan there? And also, what makes him such a guru?
Kyle Shanahan was there. He's the one that got me to DC. When free agency opened up, he was the first one to call me. He's like, Pierre, we want you out in Washington, D.C. I didn't even know where it was or what number it was because they called me from a Denver number. And, I just didn't pick up because I thought somebody was playing on my phone. But I didn't think that they would call me direct. I thought they would call my agent. But he was there. But Kyle, he studies a lot. He watches a lot of film. He watches a lot of players. He analyzes a lot of things. And he literally spends all day, just comparing stuff and seeing why this isn't going the right way. Why isn't the players going for a touchdown every time? That's his thing. Every play is designed to go to the house. And if it doesn't, you got to find why it's not going to the house. And we took that mindset on and we played with it. And we that's why we had a lot of big plays in DC. But, Kyle Shanahan, he's just focused on, why is it not going to the house? And he gets those players that helps it get to the house. That's why he has a lot of great players from free agency and undrafted free agents.
You know, I just don't know why every play wasn't a touchdown. That would be.
I promise you, he says that. You can ask him. That's his goal. And that's my same mindset too. Like, yes, we're trying to go to the house every time.
Hey, listen, I know it's 4th and 1, but this dive is a fucking touchdown. This is a touchdown play.
Hey, listen, we call dives for fullbacks, and they pop out of there, and nobody expected where you coming from. So that's his mindset, which I loved, and he was a receiver too. So we gelled very, very well together.
Hey, we appreciate you for stopping by, Pierre. Good luck with the Speed Aid compression that you can find on Amazon. It is worth it. Make your joints feel better. I hope you. Hey, I've seen you do some freakishly athletic shit. If you become a professional golfer, let's go. Let's go, dude.
I'm trying. I got to get this driver now because that'll give me a lot less of the course to play with, and then just be touched in.
All right. Good luck out there. We appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen. Pierre Garcon. Great teammate. People enjoyed Pierre Garcon in the locker room a lot. Good guy. We got to get to a break. 42 minutes in. Hell of a fucking player too.
Yeah.
He was so mad. He actually had the a vampire
mouth guard.
Mouth guard.
Yeah.
And he would run somebody over, very angry. Get up, and that vampire thing would just be there. It was awesome. It was awesome. And then you talk to him. He's just like super nicest guy of all time.
Great dude.
Presenting to world leaders a presentation on things. I'm like, whoa, dude. What are you doing?
Good for him.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. As soon as I look, I asked him, is that photo? I think I woke up and I might have been on cloud 10 or so, and I was like, hey, did I just see a picture of you? And he's like, yeah, man, pretty cool what I got going on over here. You got to come check it out. I'm like, no. You do not need me in those conversations. But I do appreciate the fact that you are a good guy representing the NFL. Hope the Speed Aid compression does well. It will help you. Find it on Amazon. We're back on the other side here. 1:43 Eastern Standard Time. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Sirius XM, Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio. We have a bracket bonanza popping off. I think what I was most excited about for this show was the fact that we are giving away $51,000 to the winner of our bracket bonanza. Wow. $51,000 bracket bonanza presented by us, obviously. It'll be in the March Madness Live app, I believe. It is something you have to download from the App Store. It looks exactly like this. It is the NCAA official thing, March Madness Live. Our challenge bracket bonanza will be up there as one of the ones you can join. There's a couple of different little things we have to talk about, though, with the $51,000 bracket bonanza. Although right now it sits at $51,000 to the winner, whoever has the best bracket. And we're going with traditional scoring, by the way. There is a new style of scoring. We're going traditional. If we become the biggest bracket bonanza challenge on the app, it'll go to $75,000. What? $51,000 bracket bonanza will go to $75,000 bracket bonanza. Then if that thing gets to over 50,000 entries, which we do not believe is possible, that seems like a lot, that'll go to a $100,000 bracket bonanza. That's right. All you gotta do is fill out your brackets, get things right more than everybody else, and you could potentially win $51,000, maybe $75,000. And if we get 50,000 people to be a part of this bracket bonanza, that'll be a $100,000 giveaway just because we want to. Now, that March Madness Live app, you will see a lot of companies are at the top. A lot of people are at the top. They have their picture. They have it all beautiful. We do not, because we are not in association with them. There are other places that do bracket challenges. We cannot work alongside of them because of an interesting situation that popped off this weekend. Then I'm going to take 2 beers.
What?
3 beers.
What?
1 vodka.
What?
What's the most beer you did in one night you think of one of those shows?
I think we went through 103 or 108. Just for myself, I'd always make sure to have about a 12 or 18 pack there.
And like the Justin Herbert looks to be a pretty good football player.
What?
You say, hey, we want to make a big splash. He fired the entire fucking coaching staff.
What?
They moved on to a whole new crew.
Here's the thing when some people say, oh, shit, man, you got too much of that beer on. You don't even know how to drink beer. It's like, dude, fuck you. You don't know what I'm trying to do.
Can you hear me?
What?
Do I sound good?
What?
Is the connection there?
What?
Is my phone connected to your phone so that we can have a phone call?
When you shotgun a bunch of beers like that and you're drinking about half of each beer, you got a pretty damn good buzz when you come out. And that's a sacrifice I was willing to make every single night.
Team, bad news. I think the fucking Patriots are going to be good again. Huh? Hunter Henry signs. How much money they got up there? We all said it. We danced on Bill Belichick's grave. This team's going to stink. New England Patriot fans, go back into your homes. You got nothing to cheer for anymore. Tom Brady's winning Super Bowls in other places. Your team stinks. That's what we all did last year. The people from the Revolution region, the New England fans, sat back, said smart-ass things, blamed other people, said it was wicked, and then they get into an offseason now, a free agency frenzy where their guy, Bill fucking Belichick, is writing checks to everybody. Here you go.
Giving the old white guys something to complain about. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
It's time to spoil the shit out of your dogs with BarkBox. 2 toys, 2 treats, and a chew. It starts as low as $23 a month for $60 worth of dog chews and toys. Wow. It's the best day of the month for our dogs is when their BarkBox arrives. They start sniffing around. The tail starts wagging. Mm-hmm. The ears get perked up. They say, oh my God, is that the box sent from doggy heaven? Is that their BarkBox? Our dogs love them.
Love them.
Oh, yeah.
This is legit. My wife obviously loves animals for the brand. She has an entire foundation she's building to battle against canine cancer, which our older dog, Valerie, is battling through right now to help others do it and everything like that. She's always the hero in the house to the animals, okay? She's the hero. She's like what, Snow White, I believe, is the one that all the animals. She's like that. She hand feeds deer at this point, wild deer. You got fox that come and grab food out of her hand. She's held raccoons before. Every time we go into public, that's her foundation right there. Every animal just loves her, okay? Now, she does have a weapon, and she always seems to know what treats are best for what animal, but still, there is a natural bond. When the BarkBox arrives, I'm the fucking king of the castle.
That's right.
Okay? I open that thing up. Chuck, the corgi that doesn't even know I exist most days, he comes sprinting over to me with his hot dog shaped looking ass and his tiny little awesome legs, ears perked up completely. Little nub is moving back and forth, and he's like, oh, this is Dad's day to be awesome. And that's what I do. Give him toys, give him treats, give him chews. And I don't even have to remember it because it comes every single month. And it's only $23 for over $30 worth of stuff. How you doing? You're a hero, and you don't even have to remember it.
Like dog claws.
Right now, go to barkbox.com/Pat. You'll get a free extra toy in every single box. That's $60 worth of toys in the first year. Sign up your pup and get unique toys and snacks, plus a free extra toy every single month at barkbox.com/Pat. Shout out to BarkBox.
Shout out.
I do look like a hero.
Oh, yeah. BarkBox is the best.
It really is. Makes your life very simple. Now, that corgi that I referenced there that came up to me for the first time, basically, whenever that BarkBox arrives each month, he has quite a nose for shredding toys apart. They got a super chew in their business as well for a durable toy if you have an asshole dog that doesn't understand that, like, hey, this is why we can't have nice things.
Right.
I need that.
Yeah, you enjoyed it. You remember enjoying chewing on that thing?
Can't rip its head off 10 seconds after getting it.
Now we got fluff everywhere.
And you probably ate half of it.
And are you not old enough to fucking realize that you're going to shit that out, you're going to feel sick, and now you don't have a fun toy anymore?
Yeah.
At what point are you going to mature, okay? At what point are you going to become a dog that understands, like, oh, this is a valued asset in my life, and stop doing that? hopefully that happens for my dog soon, Chuck, because he ruins a lot of toys that Valerie loves. But they also have a durable toy that you can also get in the BarkBox world.
Good for Chuck.
Need it.
Not good for Chuck. Fucking learn, pal.
I mean, need some accountability,
Bro, chewed off
obviously.
the eyeballs of this one thing.
What?
Yeah, I walked into like a haunted fucking house. This little gingerbread man got the eyeballs chewed off. Like, what are you doing?
Chuck.
What are you? Who raised you?
Bite the arm.
My dogs do the same. They love going for the eyes. They're animals, Pat.
That's madness.
Instincts. It's how they survive.
Yeah, Chuck is not an animal though. He has been pampered his entire life. He has royal bloodline.
Yeah. Nature versus nurture, Lodge.
Nature is going to win every time. Let's go to Gavin in California. Is this no, that's not the name of their governor.
Gavin News?
Gavin News.
Is this the gov? Hey man, I don't know how it's going over there, but seems like a lot of people have some negative shit to say about you. Hope everything's all right. What do you want to talk about, Governor Gavin? Yeah. Okay. Running from it.
Typical Gavin.
Yep, don't hide.
Classic governor.
You know?
Classic governor.
Well, he knows he's done for.
Yeah, he gets in onto this show, by the way. We ain't tossing those softballs out. No. We got heavy hitting questions. Like, hey, I seen a tweet that made its way into my Twitter account, which means that it's very deep into the sports world, out of your world. They said some mean stuff about you.
They said you stink.
They said you stink. Got anything to say for yourself?
Didn't sound like it.
Nothing.
Crickets.
Oddly quiet.
Ambient sound. It's also oddly quiet in the free agent world. Are we fucking signing people or
What's
not?
going on?
Come on,
What are we
guys.
doing here?
Are the Patriots the only team that are allowed to sign players?
Is
or
Bill
what's-
Belichick like, hey, Daily Show guys, okay, we understand that right now, potential dead time, because March Madness is here, but not really. And if you're not filling out the bracket, what are you really doing?
Yeah.
I guess you could get in on the Spread the Love campaign on FanDuel Sportsbook. If you're in a state that can have mobile betting and you're on FanDuel Sportsbook, get in on the Spread the Love campaign. I believe it's at plus 70. I believe it's at plus 70.
Free money.
MSU plus 70 this weekend for anybody that has FanDuel Sportsbook available. Go ahead and hammer that. Michigan State's bad, but they won't fuck that one up. That's
No, they
free
will
money for
not.
all of us. Ain't that right, Foxy?
Yes, sir. Free money. It's a team effort. Get in on it now.
Let's go to Sean in Jersey. What's going on, Sean?
Hey, Pat and the boys.
Hey. Hey. How you doing, huh?
What's up, John?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you guys?
His name's Sean. Everything's going great. Thank you. What do you want to talk about, Sean?
Hey, Pat. So I'm a kicker in high school. I just started this past summer.
Okay.
Never kicked before.
All right.
I was just wondering how you and Vinatieri and all the other good kickers, great kickers in the NFL, deal with the mental aspect of kicking in clutch moments.
Okay, so I have a question for you, Sean. Did you play soccer growing up?
No.
Okay, so how'd you get into kicking? You just said, like, I'm gonna give this a go, and you're gonna learn the technique, and that's how you weight train, just trying to figure out how to kick.
Yeah, sort of. It's actually a funny story. I had a football in my hand, and it was in quarantine, so I went out in the backyard, and I started punting it around, and I started kicking it, and I was like, I could really do this if I work at it. So I got a coach. Shout out Ricky Krautman.
Hey, shout out
Ricky Krautman.
Ricky Krautman, when he gets around you, balls start flying.
Guy's undefeated.
Hey, shout out to you, Sean. Okay, so the way to handle the mental thing is you rely on your fundamentals. You go back to your basics. You go back to what you've worked on hours and hours and hours of your time. Now, Sean, you are quite behind a lot of kickers because you didn't play soccer, which is where you begin those fundamentals and those tactics. Not saying that you won't be able to learn them with Mr. Krautman. I assume you will be able to, but those big moments, basically you rely back on your technique, your practice, because you have to take thinking out of it. You just got to hope that your body reacts in a situation. There's been a couple times where I've failed, and there's been a couple times where I've done really well. And I think in the really well times, I just kind of go ahead and say, well, it's going to happen. Let's hope it's a good one. And then you just kind of let your body just kind of take over. And that's why practice is so important, because practice leads to confidence, and confidence leads normally to great performance. So I would say put in the work, bub. Anybody can do it. Now,
got to coach Ricky, though. This should be fun.
Yeah.
Hey, Krautman,
Yeah.
There's a lot of kicking coaches out there. I actually respect the hustle. I think a lot of people are lying to people.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, I can get you, a scholarship or whatever. I think there's a lot of that, and that's potentially at every position. But I like the fact that the craft of kicking is being taught by a lot of people to, hopefully a lot more people that will continue to boom balls at a high level.
Was the Super Bowl the only kickoff that you were like, oh, fuck, this is the Super Bowl? All the other ones were just kind of boot that shit.
Oh, yeah. And I'm not the right person because, I don't know, I feel like in some moments where I've missed kicks, like in the first quarter where I was too relaxed. Like you know what I mean? Like it's not I'm like, I don't get like, and I think this happens in almost everything I do. I'm almost so relaxed. It's almost like hey, do you understand what's fucking happening here? And it's like, yeah, man, it's going to happen though. Like whatever. Those have got me more so. In those big situations, I've missed then too, but I think a lot of it just goes back on it. Like I don't get like, it's not like an anxiety. It's just like, okay, don't fight. Like how do we? And you just kind of leave the thinking out of it. Mm-hmm. Less thinky, more athlete takeover. Yeah. Maybe he had a great press conference. Yeah. And we misjudged it.
They did.
Hour 3's on the other side with AJ Hawk. This is the Pat McAfee Show, March 16th, 3/16. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Why is football the greatest sport on earth? And do you think football is the greatest sport on earth? And why do you like football?
That's a really deep question there, Pat.
I know. I think I can get a good answer out of you, though. Like, I think you'd be able to talk about it in a way that I think a lot of people haven't because you've been at the pinnacle of it for so damn long and inside of it. And your brain is a pretty fantastic one. We've learned here over the last few weeks, obviously. Last few weeks, that's it. That's all the time we've learned that.
I think it's the greatest sport in the world for one main reason. It is a true team sport where it is damn near impossible for one person to dominate an entire game. If you look at other team sports, basketball with 5 guys on the court, I think you've seen multiple players over the years. Maybe one player, maybe 1 or 2 players on a squad be able to dominate and win championships. Baseball, you can have a dominant pitcher and win championships. Soccer, you can have a dominant forward and or goalie. That seems to be a little more of a team sport, but you don't have 11 players engaged at the same time on every play. It is truly a sport reliant on every player on the field to do their job in order to be successful. And I think that's why at times, you know, certain star players can get maybe too much credit and maybe too much blame on the flip side, because it does take so many players at the same time in 3 phases to win football games. And I think that's the beauty and the draw of our sport, is that something new happens all the time, because you are literally dealing with 11 humans on the field at one time who all have lives outside of football, and there's distractions, there's a reliance on coaching, there's a reliance on preparation, there's a reliance on diet and performance. I just think there's so many facets to it that you see something new every single week, and I think that's the beauty in our game. When it comes to the love that I have for it, it's rooted, and I think like any player who's played for a long time, the love is not just about our sport, it's about competition. And I think there's nothing in the world for me that fills that need and that hole I have like competition. I think players who played for a long time at a high level, you have that need to be satiated competitively, and it's a love of going out there and going against guys and being in an environment where you know that nothing is guaranteed. And that's why at times I've taken umbrage to people saying that it's easy, because it's not easy. It's never easy. And I think that's the beauty in our game, is that you see things new every single week. It's never easy. And your only thing you're guaranteed is the ability to compete. I love that aspect of it. I love competing. I love going out there and harnessing the fear of failure, where I think so many people who maybe don't love football as much, the root of that is a deep fear of failure, that you might go out there and your best might not be good enough, and that's not okay with you.
There's a grown man with face paint on. So you're Big Nut.
I am, and you're Little Nut.
Well, I've had a few of those in my life. Hey, I'll tell you what, Big Nut. I hope to find you one day on my wedding night. Big Nut!
Little Nut!
You did a great job, too. The lines are straight. No DUI problem there. You're really doing a great job here, sir. Hey, Big Nut, I love everything you're about, bud.
Because we are going to win the game.
He just spit in my mouth while saying that.
The most likely team to make the college football playoff is the team that is in Columbus.
He said khakis are way too close to that team from up north. If you don't put black pants on right now, you're going to get booed out of Columbus. So I went with the black. Makes me look thin. And whenever I say 2 letters, the place goes crazy. OH! Yeah! Ladies and gentlemen, Eddie George. That offense, though, led by Justin Fields. He has 41 touchdowns accounted for, only 1 turnover. I don't know how he isn't the Heisman favorite right now.
Well, he certainly has a chance to make a stick at that today, certainly next week.
We're supposed to be at Penn State, and Mike McQuarrie told me I wasn't Penn State material. Okay, Herbie was your quarterback. He was a senior. You were a freshman. What was he like as a teammate?
Oh, he was great, man. Big shoulder pads. Kurt could run for days back in the day.
We have a guy that can break every single bone in my body. Steve, how you doing, boss man? They're down 6-1. She wants to flex on the gram. He says, lady, we are getting slaughtered by the Pittsburgh Penguins. No.
Do I do it too? I thought I need to do this.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about. Yes,
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to that show. Hour 3 here, East Coast time, 2:02. I have no clue what time it is where you are, but I know it's time for hour 3 of this dumbass show. Shout to Twine for that beat drop. Joining us right now, college football national champion, Super Bowl champion, AJ. Hi. AJ, great to have you, pal. How are you?
Hey, good to be here. Anything happened over the last few minutes? I feel like if I don't check my phone, somebody else signed.
See, it's interesting you say that because somebody did just sign. Tyson Alualu has left the Steelers and signing with the Jacksonville Jaguars. 2-year, $6 million deal, I believe is what it was. Urban Meyer down there with a checkbook saying, hey, everybody needs to come down to Duval. Everybody needs to come down and see about this no state tax. He was already selling it on TV. We got no state tax down here. We're going to have fans, by the way, which means what? We're going to have money, which means what? We're going to be able to upgrade whatever facilities. We're going to be able to sell stuff. We're going to be able to do whatever. Come on down to Duval. Let's make a run at this thing. We're going to play on the edge, okay? We're not going to play elite. Everybody's saying elite. Hey, come on. We're throwing around the word elite like it's fucking nobody's business here. This elite, that's elite, this elite. We're playing on the edge, okay? Because the edge is right there on the edge. It's right. It's right there on the edge, and that's where we're going to play. He's cooking down there. Jacksonville has been active, AJ. What do you know now that you got best friends in the building down there?
Well, I don't know anything other than what we see online, but I do know they already are in the process of building a new facility because I know Schlegel, the strength coach that we know down there, is he's helping design the whole situation. So I think that was probably part of Urban's interview. Hey, we're going to upgrade everything. We need a new. I think it's connected or it's going to be close to where their old facility is. So. Yeah, things are looking up for him, huh?
Hey, well, they got to win some games, and I assume they will. And if not, he'll just, kind of disappear and still be remembered as one of the greatest college coaches of all time. And his name will still be up for every big-time college coaching position. So it's a win-win for Urban, but it does feel like they're going all in. Other teams are as well. Obviously, New England's making plays, and Miami's making plays.
Yeah.
Huge. Anyways, Washington signs Ryan Fitzmagic. Jameis is back with the Saints. There's things happening. But the news that shook the world, the football world, was Aaron Jones signing back with the Green Bay Packers. Joining us right now is a man who was a rookie last year and will be one of the pieces of a great duo in the backfield for the Green Bay Packers. Ladies and gentlemen, the Sauce, AJ Dillon. How are you
doing? How we doing?
Hey, great shirt. Love what you're doing. Good idea. Smart. 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 For those that are listening, he has an Aaron Rodgers 3-time MVP shirt on. Smart move. Very smart move. When you saw Aaron Jones get signed, your immediate reaction was what? Because for us, the immediate reaction was, okay, Jamal Williams, great player. This means he's probably gone. This means AJ and Aaron Jones are about to be a duo. Did you have that same exact thought? And have you talked to Aaron since he got super paid?
Yeah, my first initial thought was like, congratulations for the guy and his family. That's big time. And, at the end of the season, we didn't really know what was going to happen with Aaron or Jamal, but they both took me under their wing. So I reached out to both of them and just thanked them. But I talked to Aaron briefly, but I'm sure his phone's blowing up right now. So I'll call him in a couple of days and, let him enjoy his moment.
Hey, AJ, what was it like the first time when you had to go to a full padded practice in Green Bay and you put your pads on, you got your helmet situated, and you went and you got into either your car or a teammate's car and drove across the parking lot down to practice? Was that weird?
So I got my license this year. I got my license is a Wisconsin license, so nobody drove with me. I drove myself across.
Now, I assume whenever you were in that league in New England, the ISL, you guys probably had to drive yourselves to games in that thing, right? Because it was no.
Oh, coach. I mean, maybe at BB&N might have, they might have had to drive themselves. But at Lawrence Academy, we had a bus.
Is that Boston Stooges? Is that his school? That's unbelievable. I saw you dancing basically on their entire school just a couple months ago. Yeah. When are we going to see the inevitable Oklahoma drill between you in Boston Connor Stooge here? Is that going to happen? Is that still in the books or now,
Yeah, no, I mean, it should happen. Definitely going to need a waiver for the guy. And but if you look at Miami, there's spring break going on right now. So you can see a bunch of examples down there of girls getting down on the beach with that.
Yeah, so he's saying, by the way, you're the unathletic one in the video. Yeah. When people die on those beaches there.
Because of that, I'm nervous. Like you say, it's a key piece. I don't want to trip on my 2 feet, have my helmet hit his knee, and then all of a sudden I'm the cause for this whole entire thing.
Yeah, you're right.
That'd be terrible.
You're right.
Wait,
go pack
you have
up.
pads on?
Oh, you said you wearing pads?
Yeah, dude. I don't want to die. Jeez.
AJ Dillon joining us. AJ, after 1 year in the NFL, what is your mindset different, body, physical wise, emotional wise, going into year 2? And what is different from last year when I assume you're just like, okay, let's make it through the year? What is your mindset now going into year 2 versus what it was going into year 1?
Yeah, definitely my mindset has kind of changed and way more confident. I know kind of what to expect out there, and so I'm just getting into shape. Enjoying the off season, being able to relax a little bit, but I know what I need to work on. I know how I can help out the team now, and so, I'm just ready to get it done. And we got a bunch of goals out there that we want to accomplish. So I'm trying to put my best foot forward.
Was there a time, like a specific play or game or any time when you felt like, hey, like it started to click for you? I know you got a lot more opportunities as the season went on and have postseason success and all of it. Like, can you point to any moment?
How many people do you
carry? Well, I'd say for sure the Titans game. For sure, that's kind of when I was like, all right, I belong here. And then oddly enough, NFC Championship game when we're playing the Bucs, a few plays I got in there. I didn't second guess anything. I wasn't in my head thinking about anything. I felt completely confident. And so, I'm just taking that into this year or this offseason, then into next year.
Was that the game you carried like 3-4 dudes or whatever? Was that game?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. That was the game.
Now, after that happens, you have to be like, okay, so I can do exactly what I did in college and what I did in high school right here in the NFC Championship game with 47 million people watching or whatever. That has to be a pretty cool. When you say you were completely confident, you were in your head, what does that mean? You just knew exactly what your assignment was. You knew everything, huh?
Yeah, and I just the game slowed down. That's from just talking to all the vets and Aaron and all the guys that we have there. That was kind of they're always talking about the game slowing down. And the more experience you get, the more comfortable you get, it'll slow down even more and more, and you can see different things. And in that game, that was the first time I remember just being okay, I see this guy, I see how I can, set up this block, or, I just felt really poised, I guess. So that was the first time for me.
So what's your offseason look like? Do you guys have any idea, like, of if you're going back in? Like, do you have to be in Green Bay at a certain time? Do you know?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything, but I'm just preparing that everything would be as normal, and then if not, we'll go from there. But I'm just out here in Orange County right now, training with a few of the guys, throwing with Jordan Love out here. So we got.
How is he? Is he complete? Are you guys completing passes?
We are completing passes.
That's
forward.
big.
Yeah. Forward pass.
I'll tell you what, Jordan got a raw deal, man. Jordan got a raw deal. The internet, too, after a couple videos come out of him throwing the ball into the ground, I mean, it expedited even. But it's nice to hear, hey, completing passes over there.
That's my guy. He can definitely throw that thing.
Hey, cool dude? Cool dude?
Yeah, really cool guy.
Man, okay, good. Hope to get to meet him someday. I like that you're working. Do you have ladders out there? What are you doing? Speed? Are you trying to add a little bit muscle so that when you do that Oklahoma drill down there in Miami, you run a guy over with a mustache? What are you trying to do? Is there any different training body wise?
Yeah, well, last year at this point I was getting ready for like the combine and pro day type of deals. So
Waste.
That was more just testing. Now, yeah, I've been doing a lot of agility, a lot of speed, a lot of knee lift type activities, throwing. I mean, not throwing. Whew, I can't throw, but catching.
Whoa. So there's no chance of you throwing a touchdown, huh? That's a shame.
No.
Oh, no.
Maybe he's
lying. Maybe he is lying.
Yeah.
Maybe this is...
Teams are like, he's not going to throw the ball.
Yeah, he said on McAfee Show with AJ Hawk that he stinks at throwing it. He said the guy's never thrown a fucking ball in his life.
Halfback toss, first play of the year.
All of a sudden, Aaron
Yes.
Rodgers is like asking AJ how to throw the ball all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen. What do you got, Connor?
Yeah, AJ, you mentioned just being comfortable in the offense. Is the LaFleur-Rodgers offense something that changes a lot and that new plays get put in, or is it kind of steady and just let Aaron do what he does?
Yeah, well, I have nothing to compare it to. Obviously, I've never been on any other NFL team, but, I mean, for a rookie coming in, it was definitely complex. We got a lot of things, and, I feel like both of them,
got nothing.
have obviously a bunch of experience doing what they do, and, sometimes 12 just goes out there and he does what he does, and we all look, and he makes a touchdown play out of something we thought was a botched play. So we just kind of, follow the lead, but it's definitely intricate. There's a lot of parts that go into it.
You doing squat? Like, are your quads going to continue to grow, or are these things done? Because I'm making a comeback, by the way. I'm hitting the Stairmaster today.
Oh, here we go.
There you go. Yeah, because inevitably what's that, AJ?
Whoa. How about tomorrow?
Well, maybe tomorrow, too. I mean, depending upon what's going on in free agency, I mean, it's got to do its thing. But whenever, the inevitability of AJ running over Boston Stooge, I know there's probably going to be a photo of some sort. I would like said quads to be at their best. I'm going to try to get there. For you, are we trying to slim those down? Did anybody tell you that maybe because your quad size was like a little bit ineffective because the holes had to be a little bit bigger, you think maybe get those things down a little bit?
Well, I've actually been working on going through sideways.
Smart.
So that way they'd fit through.
Hey, that's a good idea, by the way. I think as those D linemen are doing everything.
I don't think you want to show up with your quads in the photo, though. Then they'd be the second biggest quad.
All right. Okay, Connor's question. Enough. All right. I don't need that right now. No question. Ty, what do you have?
AJ, are you worried at all that, spending all this time in California in the offseason, that come next year, it gets a little bit colder on the tundra, that maybe your body hasn't reacclimated to the weather?
Nah. The cold's in my blood, but I'm going back in April, so I'll be back out there in Green Bay. It won't be too much time in the warmth.
Boston gets real cold up there.
Oh, yeah.
Real cold.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Boston is not Green Bay cold. I will say that.
Why? It's windier in Green Bay or what?
Green Bay cold is just different. Green Bay cold is real cold.
It's a real advantage, though. People talk about how Aaron gets better. Aaron gets better almost in that weather than anybody else. Yeah. It looked like that's something that benefits you and your style of play as well.
Yeah, for sure. People don't want to tackle in the cold ever, and that's just kind of how it is. Those hits hurt.
Those hits do hurt. That hit's going to hurt real bad on you. Ladies and gentlemen, running back for the Green Bay. Hey, are you still on Snapchat and everything, or TikTok?
Snapchat, TikTok, everything you can be on.
MySpace?
MySpace? AOL?
Twitter, MySpace. I was on one last night. Need you to get in there. Awesome. What is your TikTok?
It's AJ Dillon too.
You did something cool. I think you did something cool, like a giveaway.
Yeah, done some cool things. Giving some jerseys out to people.
That's what I'm saying.
Put some games out.
That's what I'm saying.
Video game stuff. Whole bunch of stuff.
Let's tell people. Let's tell people that we're doing that. AJ Dillon too. I mean, you deserve it. You're giving shit away. I like that. Guys like Oprah Winfrey on his TikTok. Ladies and gentlemen, the sauce, AJ Dillon. Thank you, AJ. Hey, AJ Hawk.
Yeah.
We had another AJ on there. He was wearing the Aaron Rodgers MVP shirt. How smart of an idea is that? I'd wear that every day if I was in it. Every day I'm wearing that thing, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. But then I feel like there's a point, though, to where Aaron would get upset at the pandering, of someone doing that. So I think there's an amount of time you could do it.
Could you imagine? I get it.
Take it off.
I get it. Okay, now just assume now that you're wearing them every single day, but you don't have to actually because this is good. That's awesome, though. It's a lot different than, Pittman telling Carson, you ain't getting my number. I'm joking. It seems like they've gone over that. They're playing catch already. What number will Carson Wentz be? We'll keep up with it. Let's talk to AJ here about some things that have happened over the last 24 hours since the last time we were on air. Jameis Winston's back in Tampa Bay. Big news. Fitzmagic, or New Orleans, sorry about that. New Orleans. Jameis Winston's back in New Orleans. Fitzmagic is back is in Washington, 9th team. He's going to be the guy. Bud Dupree's in Tennessee. And the New England Patriots have signed everybody else that has been signed. They have been so active, AJ. Bill Belichick is flipping that roster as quickly as he possibly can. They said he's not done yet. He's going to continue to do this. Were you surprised by this? Everybody else seemed to be. So I'd assume you were as well.
I mean, yeah, I was surprised. I mean, you go out there and you grab was that probably the two best tight ends on the free agent market, wasn't it?
I would assume. I mean, I'm not hearing anybody else at this particular point.
You pay him big money and you make all these moves hoping like the guys that are coming back from opting out are going to be able to put a squad together. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying they're going to the Super Bowl, but I think it's exciting to see them do this because this is something that seems like it's somewhat unheard of from them.
$137.5 million in guarantees in these contracts, allegedly. Now, all reported contracts could be completely BS, but there's a lot of big names that are still sitting out there. It feels like some teams have some cap space and can make some moves,
Ooh. Yeah.
But maybe that team that's doing that just has respect for the process.
Yeah.
Okay? This is the tampering period. This is not the announcement period. We will do that whenever it's the proper time to announce. We keep things in-house around here. Maybe that's what the Colts are doing. Maybe that's what some other teams are doing. But there's a lot of big names. Allegedly, Richard Sherman's getting courted by the Saints. The Saints are trying to bring him in there. He's just one of the big-name guys that are still out there. Kenny Golladay is going to be a splash. Trent Williams is going to be a splash. There's a lot of guys out there still, AJ.
Yeah, Shaq Griffin, he signed with the Titans, is that right? Jags. My bad, yeah. So he's off. Kyle Long is an interesting one. I would take a flyer on Kyle Long, wouldn't you? Why not?
Yes. We actually talked about that earlier. If you're a personnel NFL GM who's trying to revamp the offensive line, which a lot of teams who have some money are trying to do, if you think Kyle Long could be anywhere near what he was before he got hurt and it kind of panned out in a negative way. He said a little bitter way with his injury and everything in Chicago. If you think he could get back, and by the way, he could be even better now that he's been away from the game, much like Gronk, a little bit fresher, a little bit more clear-minded, maybe a little bit more, like excitement to get to work now that you haven't been there. There might be he's a guy you would want on your team. He was at the Raiders for a workout. He's visiting with the Chiefs. But I assume there's other teams that are looking around like, if we can potentially get Kyle Long, we should talk him into not doing this nostalgia thing with the Raiders or anything. Like, we should try to get him. Also, allegedly, the Bills made an offer to Gronkowski, who could have been on the market. Imagine the Buffalo Bills with Gronk going back home to Buffalo, New York. That would have been insanity.
I mean, that would have been an awesome story, I guess, but how much more would they have had to pay him? He's getting, 1 year, 10 from Tampa Bay. Would they have to double that, you think, to get him there?
I'm not sure. He told Kyle Brandt in the 10 Questions episode he was on that he's going to do 1 year deals from here on out. He said he's going to dip his toes into free agency, that whole thing. But when you hear like Buffalo was offering him his hometown, it's like, you don't think Gronk is ever going to leave Tom Brady. He came out of retirement to play with Tom Brady. He was going to retire if he wanted to play in Detroit. Now, if that wasn't Detroit and that was another team that was potentially good, would that same thing would have happened? We will never know. But everybody thought Gronk was going to be locked in to Tampa Bay. Then Ninkovich comes out and he's like, hey, look for Gronk to potentially hit the free agency. And then we're like, holy shit, if Gronk is a free agent, that's going to be somebody you want. And then Buffalo did the same thing. They were like, maybe we get him up. I mean, he said we can bring him home. We'll have Bill's Mafia, the Gronkowski family. We'll have their own section. The Gronks will do the whole. We'll do this. Him on that offense with Diggs and Josh Allen, which wherever he's going to head to. I mean, that team would have been fantastic. But Gronk's back for $10 million in Tampa.
Well, don't you think the Bills are? I think it's a no-brainer for them to try to get Gronk there. Like, you know the amount of tickets that he's going to easily sell, which they don't really need a whole lot of help. The Bills Mafia is pretty strong, but it's like, hey, bringing him home, he obviously can still play. He's like one of the most recognizable players in the league, too. So I would have made an offer, too, if I was the Bills.
Me, too. If I was any team, by the way, I'm making an offer to Gronkowski.
But at least the Bills, you could sell it. Hey, the only thing that could possibly pry you away from Tom Brady is, hey, come back home. Let's come do this. You've never really gotten a chance to play in front of all your boys, like all your people from your high school. Like, that could have been a good recruiting little.
Now, and if you're Pittsburgh, you could say the same thing, by the way, because he did go to high school in Pittsburgh as well, his actual senior year after he was expelled from his high school in Buffalo. He came down to Woody High, which is a incredible high school football program. But that is, like, if you're the Colts, now Chris Ballard is doing his own thing, but hey, you get Gronkowski on this Colts. How about the Patriots, by the way, with Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, and then Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, and Julian Edelman. And in the backfield, they're getting another running back, allegedly, maybe Philip Lindsay, and also, who's the running back? Damian Harris back there. It's like, what just happened? What just happened? They just built a very solid, very, very, very good starting skill position group overnight. Literally overnight, they're like, well, fuck it, we'll just buy it. Let's go, bang, bang, boom, boom, boom. This is what we want. It's insane to think about what they did. I'm surprised more teams aren't doing the same damn thing. You know what I mean?
I mean, if you have the room, yeah, you would think people would want to try to do this, but I don't know. I guess if it doesn't work out, what does this do to Belichick? Like, do you care about the whole stupid legacy talk and all of that?
If it doesn't work,
yeah,
I'll just sail into the sunset. He'll disappear for a year or two, and then.
But does it tarnish anything? Does it like reinforce the fact that, hey, Belichick can't win without Tom?
Listen, I'm going to be, I ain't no bullshitter, all right? So I'm going to say that when it happens, if they do bad, we will all react accordingly about how it is a tarnish and blah, 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 blah. Then we will all quickly realize a couple years down the road that the only thing we'll say is, do you remember what Bill Belichick did over there? 20 years, blah, blah. Only the bangers will survive. So if this thing completely goes off the tracks, although we have to react live and in the current moment how we feel about it, long term, though, if this doesn't work, nobody will say a fucking thing about it because of all the credibility in the resume that he already has. Now, the ultimate haters, I guess, will say, well, there was this and this, but they're always going to say that. I think the general conversation about Bill, if this does not work, long term will be about everything that good happened, not the bad, I don't think.
No, you're 100%. I think that's it should be that way, to where, yeah, if he takes a shot and this doesn't work out, yeah, we're going to eventually, yeah, you're going to remember what he did with the Patriots when Tom was there and when they were winning all the rings. Like, the consistency over 20 years. What are you spraying? Oh, is that your greenie spray?
Me, Billy Joel, Mike Greenberg, everybody on Broadway. Ever heard of it?
It works.
Wait, does Greenie make it and send it to you?
No,
Really?
it's another company. They should work on a flavor, but it's for dry throat and hoarse voice. Entertainer's Secret throat relief.
Oh, there we go.
And on the description of it, it actually says just go ahead and spray the shit out of it, by the way.
As much as you want.
We got more bottles on the way if you need
nice.
it. Go ahead and do your thing. And we do, 3 hours every single day, basically. And I feel like the words per minute in those 3 hours potentially at a very high rate upon everybody else. There's a lot of talking, but those Broadway folks, they'll do back-to-back shows like 2 in one night, 10 straight nights or something. I have no clue how they do that. And I'm actually fascinated by that entire little world. They might be some of the most talented bodies of humans, and nobody even knows their fucking names because they're so in love with the art.
and a lot of them are singing for 10 straight nights, 2 shows a day.
Singing, sprinting,
Dancing.
yelling, fighting. It's wild. I'm like, I have no idea how you do it. I think that's why I enjoy it, because I look and I'm like, yep, I could never in a million years do what they're doing out there.
They must be spraying that in their nose like it says you can on the bottle.
Yeah, I can
as
snort
much as
this,
you
I guess.
want.
I guess you can snort this if you want. Get a little drip down to the throat.
That's smart. Snort
spray.
Jesus.
Does it really say that?
Yeah.
As much as you need.
Directions. Wow. Remove the protective cover and depress the actuator several times to prime the pump. Tilt your head back and aim the spray toward the back of your throat. You can access the upper throat more efficiently by spraying into the nostril while sniffing it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're telling me to snort it.
Yep.
I ain't gonna do that. I respect my brain too much. Let's go to the break. It is hour 3 of 316 day. Here on SiriusXM Channel 82 Mad Dog Sports Radio. We'll hopefully break some news on the other side, and if not, we'll take some phone calls. 1-888-MAD-DOG-6. AJ Hawk cannot wait to hear from you. This is Pat McAfee Show. We'll see you in about 4 minutes. Go ahead and piss, shit, do what you need to do. Because in 4 minutes, let me tell you about the electricity that's about to flow through your screen or your speaker.
Yeah.
It's about to go down. Woo! 4 minutes, Pat McAfee Show. I think I've realized this year with the conversations, you do seem to be a rather normal human, which is very interesting, right? I assume for a lot of people to hear. AJ said, no, you are not a normal human. But because all the stories about you before this year, to be honest, a lot of people, the way they believed is you were the smug king almost is what the thing about it. And then getting a chance to chat with you, it's like, well, that's not the case at all. How is that like something you have to focus on? I assume it gets hard whenever you're hanging out with, Scott Stapp is hanging Aaron Rodgers jerseys up in his goddamn office. That has to be pretty weird.
Well, look, I think that's an interesting thing to talk about. I think a lot of times, people have said things about me, and it's been the same few people, and that's been kind of the prevailing story or thing that's reflected on. I think for me, I talk a lot about the work I did on myself. It was nice, and it wasn't intentional. Like, I didn't sign the show to have, and you guys know, we've talked about this off air, but there wasn't some agenda doing this. It was fucking talk to Pat and AJ every week. Yeah, sounds pretty awesome.
It has been, by the way.
It sounds amazing. But what it's allowed me to do is, I think, silence all the douchebags out there who were, talking for me and making themselves more relevant by using my name or, running with stories that were not really based in any type of fact. And look, I've grown as a person. I've said things and done things that I wish I'd handled a little better. But this was a great, natural, authentic, whatever, whether it was 15 minutes at the stadium or 45 minutes to just bullshit and have a conversation. If you're a friend of mine, if you know me, I think this is about as normal as interaction you're going to see from me. It's not a lot of BS. You're not going to hear cliches and garbage. I'm going to, shoot from the hip mostly. Tell you as much as I feel comfortable telling. I feel like I've been as honest as I could be. I've told you guys a lot of fun stuff. That's fun for me because then I don't have to maybe rehash it on a Wednesday, or people get to see a different side of you that maybe they didn't even know was there or didn't think was there. And it's been fun for me. I really have. I've appreciated every single week we've done these. And like I said, the best part is there was no agenda. There was no plan. I mean, even us, we didn't know we were going to go 10 minutes or 15 minutes or an hour. Or, we just started fucking talking, right? And then this came out, and it's been a lot of fun.
Then I'm going to take 2 beers.
What?
3 beers.
What?
1 vodka.
What?
What's the most beer you did in one night you think of one of those shows?
I think we went through 103 or 108. Just for myself, I'd always make sure to have about a 12 or 18 pack there.
I like that Justin Herbert looks to be a pretty good football player.
What?
You say, hey, we want to make a big splash.
What?
He fired the entire fucking coaching staff.
What?
They moved on to a whole new crew.
What?
Here's the thing when some people say, oh, shit, man, you got too much of that beer on. You don't even know how to drink beer. It's dude, fuck you. You don't know what I'm trying to do.
Can you hear me?
What?
Do I sound good?
What?
Is the connection there?
What?
Is my phone connected to your phone so that we can have a phone call?
What?
When you shotgun a bunch of beers like that and you're drinking about half of each beer, You got a pretty damn good buzz when you come out. And that's a sacrifice I was willing to make every single night.
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat and the boys.
Thank you guys for that. You know, let's talk about it.
Okay.
Have to.
Are you okay with that, AJ?
Yeah. Can't wait.
OH, man.
Nope.
That's unbelievable.
Scumbag.
He hopes the Buckeyes lose in turn.
Showed up my bracket. I do not.
Yeah, I saw it. He actually had him get an upset in the first round.
Are you in our bracket challenge where you could potentially win $51,000? Well, you can't because I'll be winning, but the winner of the thing will win $51,000.
Yeah, me.
Yeah, I think I'm in it. I mean, with the link and the situation, everything trying to get registered and all that.
All right, we understand.
Yeah, easy.
We understand it's not easy, okay?
I'm in. I figured it out.
Well, if AJ can figure it out, you can figure it out.
Anybody can.
Okay,
Yes,
and if this becomes the biggest bracket bonanza challenge on the March Madness Live app, that $51,000 grand prize actually goes to $75,000.
Jeez.
Wow. Yeah, and if it'll never do this, okay? This will never happen. But if that gets to 50,000 entries, it goes to 100,000. You see that? So people helping people, be a friend and ask a friend, because if you feel like you're going to win, you want more people in there so we get more money in there.
Can't wait to win that money.
Just remember
You're
that
not
you
gonna win.
are competing for second.
Well, second gets nothing, and that's what you'll be
so
getting.
I'll be first.
No, that's probably
I'll be first, dude.
No,
Are you
no.
guys starting this again?
Well, you.
No, man, sorry. Listen, we don't need your shit.
Dude,
Come on. Please.
What do we?
Oh, Zito. Maybe Zito will.
Yeah,
Maybe
Zeke might.
Zeke might win.
No, you'll all be looking down at Zito's mom because she'll be on top.
This guy.
That's the name of his bracket.
Yeah.
I did not know that people take like fantasy football names to brackets. That's what's happened here.
Yeah.
And Nick's is the most offensive I've ever heard in my entire
I
life.
mean, what he said last night in Spaces, he crossed the line.
Hey, by the way, AJ, if you ever figure out Twitter Space is pretty good time.
Yeah.
Pretty good time.
I doubt it.
Well, not for people like you who just stink.
Yeah.
Debbie
What is
Downer,
it?
dude.
It's like Clubhouse, their version. So you just listen
now
to
you
people
wanna
speak.
know.
So now you're interested.
Now you want to know.
That's interesting.
Interesting.
Bring them in.
Huh.
How about that?
Will you come on to the knockoff version of Clubhouse on Twitter, which we actually have? We don't have an actual Clubhouse, so I'm not sure which one's better. I would assume Clubhouse is better, but the Spaces one is a good time. It's a good time.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I mean, I'm curious as to what it is.
There's a person who's been on our show in the past, but is banned for this particular week. He did his Spaces a couple days ago, which is roughly a week and a half after we did our first one or whatever. And he was acting as if he created the idea of doing a Spaces last night.
That's funny. I actually saw that same guy start one right
after
you.
ours.
Yeah.
Smart to delay.
Exactly.
Smart.
What's his name rhyme with?
Well, the thing is when you smell monies in the wild, there is a chance that what you're smelling is shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the thing about it. Was going to read this. It actually has like a tone like that started this entire conversation. But I think we've gone too far off the trail.
Now we've gone to shit.
Now we've gone to the smell monies that are out there that do potentially. Oh my God, the Grim Reaper has returned on this week that was supposed to be filled with people's bank accounts getting filled. Now we're hearing that people are getting fired, and it's going the opposite direction. Massacre Week has rolled into hour 3 here. The Detroit Lions tweet out that they have released D-tackle Danny Shelton. Danny boy. Danny already missed the first wave of free agency where one team already spent $137.5 million in guarantees. The Detroit Lions, who have a new alpha in the house, okay, with MCDC. There's a new owner, a new GM. They send old Danny Boy out into a market that's potentially looking a lot drier than it was just 24 hours ago. Was that on purpose? Was it not? Rest in peace to the time that Danny had up there in Detroit. Oh, somebody's paid! Woo! Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end, although we did just suffer a little bit of a sad situation with Danny. On the flip side, for every action, there is an equal reaction. An opposite reaction? Somebody got paid. Who is it? My Sports Update is reporting that Texans are signing former Patriots third-round defensive end Derek Rivers per his agent Parrot M. Was drafted when Nick Caserio was in New England. Okay.
His agent's a Parrot?
Good player.
That guy is a good player.
Good player.
Guy's a good player.
Texans are taking the Lions approach like Matt Patricia and bringing in all the former Pats. I think they're looking at N'Keal Harry, too.
Yeah, this is a smart idea. Cal Van Noy probably going over there.
Yeah, Danny Shelton's probably next.
Yeah.
He might be.
That's like there's been a couple teams that have tried to do such things, and it always seems to work out perfectly, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Like case studies say, good idea to do such thing.
Sure. Yeah.
Hey, listen, Cesario's walking into a burnt-down house already because his guy, Jack Eastbury, he used to pray with, is now making decisions down in Houston. It's a wild time to be a Texan, but they're making plays. They brought in Mark Ingram. Yeah. Signed DN now. Okay, they're making plays.
Cannon, they traded for the guard from the Patriots.
Tackle.
Got Shaq Lawson from us. It's great.
Yeah, here we go. In a trade, they are answering phone calls for some people to be traded, but once that conversation starts, moseying into the quarterback position, they hang up that phone.
Well, and the only guys that are answering phone calls from are former Patriots, coaches and where they come from.
Flores. Okay, so the Houston Texans potentially have a two-pipeline system in the NFL if it's New England or Miami because they're old friends. They won't fuck us. We got old friends down there.
Hey, do you think are the Patriots going to try to take an outside rusher?
They,
Judon.
Like, Judon is somebody that he made so many plays last year. It was awesome to watch, to be honest with you. It's one of those guys you bring in there. They also heightened D-tackle position, right? They got in the middle. They signed somebody.
Gotcha.
You would think if they really wanted to do this full redo everything, they would potentially bring in somebody else. Maybe that's an edge rusher. They would potentially bring in a running back that they're doing. If they're doing a full rebuild at certain positions, and those are game-changing positions, you would think maybe another pass rusher, right?
I think you can't have too many pass rushers, and that's the thing. The Patriots, I feel like they need to get pressure on the quarterback. They're going to be trying to play games that are most likely close. If their offense, it seems like they want to be like a defense-driven team now and get to use Cam's athletic ability and everything, but there may be some games they need to win 17-14.
You think that it's going to be a defensive-driven, you think?
I think so.
They got Winovich, dude.
What are you talking about, bro?
Look at the weaponry
Gotta be.
they just
Do you think they're going to have an explosive offense that puts up a ton of points?
They just spent $137 million.
I know, but if Cam is the quarterback, I think it's going to look different. They're going to use him running a lot more too.
Well, I think so too, by the way. Just like what, Baltimore was a problem for New England, right? Whenever it first happened.
Yeah, the first go-around.
First go-around, it was a problem. And I would assume that Belichick, right, knows the upside of having, mobile quarterback with the run game. And Cam Newton ran a couple powers last year that was absolutely awesome. I don't know if their signings yesterday, though, indicate to me that they're going full run situation. I don't think so. I'm
not saying they are, but I'm just saying, I don't know, depending on the health of his arm, too. I think that it plays a big factor.
Hey, it's a big question about Cam, isn't it? Because you got even Patriots fans who are all in on all the signings, and they're like, okay, now I see we got everybody. What's going on? Maybe Bill's going to make a move in the draft. Maybe he likes somebody high in the draft. Maybe he brings somebody in like, hey, Cam was an incredible leader for us. Cam was the first one in every single morning. He worked his ass off. Everybody loved him. Maybe this is like a Cam potential with a younger guy in there, and maybe they'll compete, but maybe it'll be like a watch. Who knows what they're going to do at the quarterback position? And maybe Cam, who said, I ain't going out like that, is going to come back and be great, and hopefully there's not the COVID distraction that comes in or anything else, and now he has people to throw to. I don't know. It's an interesting situation, but even the Patriots fans are not 100% confident with that particular position.
Yeah, because the team goes as the quarterback goes, but we talk about how the NFL is cyclical, and it's been so much passing for the past few years that it might be coming back around here, and the run game all of a sudden
zigzag, right? Michael Lombardi said when they zig, the Patriots like to zag.
They can spend as much money as they'd like. they still have to bring back Lawrence Guy. If he's gone,
Please.
defense
Very
is
true.
in trouble.
Very true. Very true. Larry Guy, friend of the show.
Bring him in.
Great
I
team.
played with Larry Guy in Green Bay.
Awesome dude.
Oh yeah.
Man.
You see Larry Guy in person, you go, there's no way that guy, and he is so athletic. Is he not? I mean, it is unbelievable.
And he's cock strong too. He's one of those dudes that can't be moved.
It's
he's just so powerful.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. There's no way. Like, he walks in, you see him, you're like, okay, that guy not going to be a real and then he's going into what, like year 15 or 13 at this point. It has to be up in the over 10. Dominant too, like playing well. I love Larry Guy, but you're right. He is a free agent, isn't he?
Cock strong. I mean, that's the only word to describe him.
What about Kyle Van Noy? What's going on with our guy Van Noy? Where's he going, you think, AJ?
He's probably just weighing all his good. I'm sure he wants to go to a contender. He probably doesn't care as much about money as he does the chance to win another ring.
I see him with the Niners.
Really?
Yeah.
See him with the Colts?
Yeah, the Colts would be really nice if we got a pass rusher. Wanted Bud Dupree, but Kyle Van Noy, I didn't know he was going to be available, so I love Kyle Van Noy in Indianapolis. What was that,
Maybe
Nick?
Houston.
The Bucks.
You think Kyle Van Noy's going to the Tampa Bay
I
Buccaneers?
think he wants to join back in on an ex-Patriot train, get another ring with Tom and Gronk.
Oh, but then are they building the Patriots in Tampa Bay?
Yeah.
Because this doesn't work. It seemed to work if you got Tom Brady here. Yeah. He's so good. Let's go to Shane in Boulder. What's going on, Shane?
Hey, how's it going, boys? How's it going, Pat?
Hey, not too shabby, Shane. It's great to hear from you. What do you want to talk about, pal?
Dude, I'm super fucking pissed off at GMs in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like like how
It's gonna be okay.
How do you get paid millions of dollars?
Millions.
And you suck so bad at your fucking job.
So bad. Worse than a weather person, like a
Like,
meteorologist.
dude, listen. If I'm a Bears fan,
Okay.
but every player they signed, don't sign Andy Dalton. If you're going to sign a quarterback right now, go get Tyrod Taylor.
Huh? How about it? How about
Tyrod, he's better than Dalton. Dalton's trash.
Yeah.
You
Slow
down.
I'm picking Andy over
Hey, now, really?
Yeah.
Really? I don't know. I don't know.
Tyrod won a lot of games in his career.
He got two franchises to the playoffs that weren't supposed to get to the playoffs. That's what Tyrod Taylor did.
Bills.
And Cincy, when he won, he got Cincy to the playoffs.
Helped turn
as
the
well.
Browns around.
I mean, come on. Jen! I believe in Andy Dalton, though, so I don't want to have to compare the two, but I've not done enough research to. But who just lost a job in this week that people are supposed to be making money? Rappaport is reporting the Raiders are releasing Pro Bowl center Rodney Hudson, source said. A surprise in Las Vegas as their O-line receives a nearly complete facelift. New England, Green Bay also needs a center. I don't know if they're going to be able to pay, but Green Bay needs a center. I believe the Pittsburgh Steelers need a center. The center market, the Dolphins need a center. The center market is potentially one where you can go make some money. I wonder why the Raiders are on every one of their offensive linemen.
That is now actually the entire offensive line is gone.
Yeah, yesterday we said the entire offensive line. I guess we would like to make a correction on what I said yesterday. It was not the entire offensive line yesterday. Today, though, officially, the entire fucking offensive line is gone. That's wild.
I mean, how good do they must feel pretty good about the other guys they have on the roster that don't have a lot of experience.
How about this? They cut that guy. What? Is Kyle Long working out today for them?
Yes. I think so, yeah.
Kyle Long bends over, snaps the ball. He says, I think I can play center, by the way. And they're like, all right, cool. Get rid of our guy.
Okay, thanks.
All right, we got Kyle Long in there. Like, I wonder.
I mean, Kyle Long has leverage now. Don't you think he has leverage in Oakland or Las Vegas? I should say. He's like, hey, wait, you guys just cut everybody, so I'm not playing minimum. I'm like, what do you think you're getting? Oh, double whatever you thought you were going to pay me.
Am I playing tackle and guard? What's going on? How is this? And center?
I'm swing center if you need one too. Okay, cool.
Okay, that's great. I'm okay with this, but those potential bullet points on the contract all account for something. Good for Kyle Long. I don't think they have much money though. I don't think. Somebody has more. Somebody has more money now than they did just moments
Tony
ago.
doesn't like it.
Who is it?
Juju.
The Bengals aren't done. They're signing former Steelers cornerback Mike Hilton.
Son of a bitch.
Said Ian Rappaport reporting. Oh my God, the Bengals are spending money. Oh my God, the Bengals are plucking players from within their own division and saying, hey, come to our team. We have no indoor facility, but we got a quarterback. Let's turn this thing around. They get Hendrickson. They get Mike Hilton. And everybody that's ever watched a Cincinnati Bengal game with Joe Burrow playing quarterback hopes that they invest in an offensive line that just got released from Las Vegas, maybe. But the Bengals are making plays, AJ. You grew up a Bengals fan. You played for the Bengals. You were back when the Bengals were a good football team making the playoffs. What's going on over there? Are they trying to win games all of a sudden? That's not normal for the Bengals.
Well, yeah, I think they're trying to win games.
Wow.
They've targeted some
breaking
people.
news.
That's a breaking
I mean,
news.
the contract they gave Hendrickson alone tells you, like, hey, this isn't like the normal Bengals. Like, they paid that dude good money, and I think he's a great player. I think he's going to fit in very well with the Bengals. But I just don't know. Does Diggs serious? Like, did Diggs think that he was coming back to the Steelers?
No, I didn't. But there was some hope.
Are you mad? Are you just mad that he went in the division?
No, I'm mad that he's going to ruin his career. I mean, he's one of the best.
That guy cares.
Best slot corners
Bengals-
in all of football, and he's going to go.
The COVID Cowboy cares train is one that is very long, and that's what people forget about with Diggs because he's in war with the Juju
my favorite
Bees.
Steeler.
Yeah, but now things have to change. But that defense gets better over there in Cincinnati. Let's hope they can protect Joe Burrow and maybe win some games. The Pittsburgh Steelers might have Juju Smith-Schuster back on their team.
Yeah.
I guess the wide receiver market. Rossini tweeted that the wide receiver market is a bad market right now. It's not a good market for anybody. So I wonder what that means for everybody. I wonder if it's because Will Fuller and whoever are hung up on how long the deal is. I wonder what's going on in the wide receiver market because aside from Aguilar and Bourne, there's a lot of guys out there, not a lot of signings, and there's teams that have money that definitely need wide receivers, one in Indianapolis, and nothing's going on. I wonder how one person's deal slows down everybody else in this whole thing, AJ.
It definitely does, especially if whoever is setting the ceiling hasn't done it. What's Fuller are we still waiting on somebody to kind of set what the ceiling will be? And then
Galladay, Galladay, I think.
Yeah. So it definitely can hold people up because teams right now, though, if it's not a great wide receiver market, the teams can sit there and be like, hey, we got time, man. Like, your demands are way too high. Like, come back to us when you're a little more reasonable. And I think teams kind of have the power right now.
Hey, Galladay's a dude, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's so good. He needs to come to Indianapolis. He just catches everything. Contested, non-contested. He catches every
Where
single ball.
Where did he go to school?
Mac School, Illinois. Northern Illinois?
Sure it wasn't UCF.
I could be wrong.
This show's
Third round pick, I know that.
Northern Illinois.
Oh, that's
right. When he was on your team, one of the best players you guys had for a generation or whatever, so I would assume you would know where he went to school.
Jeez.
But
I didn't clap. You guys clapped.
You did one of these though. You
You
did a bow almost, but the opposite since you're sitting down.
He's so good though.
Yeah, legit, huh? He's going to set the market, right?
Yes.
T.Y. still out there. That's an incredible football player if you get him on the right team. Juju Smith-Schuster still out there.
AB.
Antonio Brown, still a free agent. Gronk signs back to Tampa, but AB, what's going to happen with him? I mean, there's a lot of moves. Trent Williams.
Yeah. Stud.
Hey, I was watching some clips. He's trying to take people's souls.
Kills dudes.
Yes.
He's a guy. I would assume the Colts are in conversations with him after losing Costanzo. Never really got enough credit. A Pro Bowl left tackle, though, Anthony Costanzo. He leaves. I'd assume with Carson Wentz coming in there, they're going to want to have a stud guy, because if they get Trent there, that offensive line remains intact as a very, very, very good offensive line. Maybe you get some weapons. Maybe Carson remembers how to play football. Maybe the Colts are back.
Hey.
Maybe the Colts are back. Carson, how we doing, huh? We feel good?
Would you want to face that O-line with Nelson and Trent on there?
Same
You
side.
want to take them on?
Hey,
Ryan Kelly, too.
And Ryan Kelly at center. But those two, right, you watch their highlights, it feels like they do enjoy, I think hurting people.
Destroying guys.
And there's not a lot of tackles like that. Most tackles are like technicians. Like they're working on their set and they know like, hey, my game, I'm not meant to be violent with everything that I do. Trent Williams, he doesn't care. He's killing everybody, but he also has great technique and he's a stud. He's been doing it forever, I feel like.
Dude, the video from he's been doing it forever, and the video from last year where he runs downhill to a linebacker, and it's a run, so he's immediately right off the ball to this linebacker, and this linebacker had no idea he was coming, which I don't know how that happens. Yeah. I'm not sure how that happens. I don't know what he was supposed to read or how he was supposed to read, and I've never played that position, but it's a damn shame he did not see Trent. Trent takes his butt. I thought he killed a man on the field, and I'm like, okay, there is still some real violence happening. They can soften the rules, and everybody's like, "How this football is much different and softer," or whatever. There are some dudes out there that are still okay with it being a very physical game, and those are the guys you want on your team. Yeah, those are guys I would like on my team. What do you have, Connor?
Didn't Trent Williams walk up to Richard Sherman when he was at the football team and Sherman was at Seattle after a playoff game and punch him in the face?
I did.
He was like, "I'm going to punch you."
It was on
fucking
TV. Yeah,
it was on TV. He's like, "I'm going to punch you in the fucking face," and Sherman was like, "Okay, do it," and he just smacked him in the mouth. It was awesome.
Oh! Somebody got paid.
Great cash, homie.
Here on Brinks Week, a deal was done. Let's hope the Giants have signed former Texans fullback Colin, the Giants' Joe Judge.
That's a big acquisition.
Holy shit.
New England Patriots is being reported by Ralphie Vacchione. Ralphie Vacchione.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Vacchione.
Oh,
thanks, Stiggs.
Everyone else said it.
But was it
goes by
Vacchione?
Ralphie?
Is it Vacchione?
Nah.
That's a key. That's a CCH. In
With the H
Italian
after
is a Vacchione.
I think it's Vacchiano because it's like Ralph Macchio.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Machi said it right there in there.
Vacchi? Vacchiano?
Vacchione.
Yeah, I think you nailed it.
You get the Fauci-ouchie with Vacchione. This show sucks. But congrats to the Here we go. We got another sign.
Great cash, homie.
Let's hope. We know all these players, obviously, and we expected all of them to happen. The next one to get paid via Dove Kleiman. The Browns had a pass rusher, former Falcons first-round pick, D-end Tack McKinley, joins on a one-year deal worth up to $4 million per J. Jones 9. Shout out to J. Jones 9 getting the scoop on Tack McKinley, the former Falcon. He's now a Brown on a one-year deal. The Browns adding to that defensive line alongside Myles Garrett. It was alleged that they were in for J.J. Watt. Who knows how true or not that was. They get another pass rusher up there. The Browns are a good team, dude. The Browns are a good team. It seems like a very different Browns squad organization, the way they're making decisions now, too.
Well, I think it's a smart move for them. You don't have to spend a whole lot. And, like, Tack was a first-round pick. He's a super talented guy. Maybe it wasn't like a great scheme fit for him in Atlanta, or, it's the whole change of scenery, change of team. Maybe it kind of sparks his career.
New face, new place.
A guy failed a physical, couldn't even make the Bungles last year. Let's pump the brakes on.
This guy
here for Tack McKinley.
I mean, jeez.
Real
Steelers
information.
fans are growing.
Jeez.
Real information.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That is actual information, I guess, that I did not know until he said it in a very negative fashion. But let's be happy for this guy. It's Brinks Week. He just signed a deal.
Well, if he fails the Browns physical, then they won't have to pay him. He won't be on the team.
How do you fail physical, by the way? Is that?
Did he fail a couple?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean,
either.
if you're hurt, like coming off surgery, you can get they can cut you designated failed physical or still hurt or something. But I don't know how. Can you fail physical if you're overweight? Is that a fail?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, Zito, what's that?
Come on, Zito, right?
What was that? All right, let's get some phone calls here before we wrap up the show. Zeke, man, I want to let you know, it is fantastic to have you back in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pat.
Missed you last week, buddy. And by the way, it feels like you figured out that board over there pretty quickly, huh?
Yeah. Only one mistake today.
I didn't even notice.
Big jump from yesterday to today.
The quickness in learning something.
He's a modern marvel.
Especially if that was not a bit yesterday. Yeah. If that was not him just like, oh, they got me doing something I never run before. Let's beat that. That was unbelievable. You've done incredible things, Zeke. I want to let you know that. Let's go to Sean in D.C. What's going on, Sean? I mean, we didn't think he was going to be able to do it.
What's up, Pat? AJ,
I did.
How's everybody doing on a Feel Good Tuesday?
Hey, everything's great. You weren't here for it. So if you were here, you would have potentially maybe thought that, I think, at one point. Sean, what do you want to talk about that? And that's why it's so impressive what he's been able to accomplish in less than 24 hours. Zito, you're unbelievable.
My question is this.
Okay. Sean,
Obviously,
thanks.
back in the day, AJ, you swarmed on the QBs and running backs similar to a wild hawk, snatching a mice or a prey using blazing speed and strength.
Mm-hmm.
If you were reborn as a live Cooper's hawk, how would AJ the Hawk talk? And perhaps could you give us a demonstration of your best
Oh, okay.
mating call?
Yeah.
Also,
Well, wait.
He was still going. Why did you cut him off?
Oh, I thought you were going to give the mating call, a bird call.
Yeah. No,
I
he
thought you were going
finished,
to potentially go OH and then give a.
I didn't understand really much of anything that he said.
Well, Sean went on a run there. That's the thing about Sean. Sean went on a run, and it was awesome. And also, I kind of, I was explaining a situation that you falsely described. Wow, he was, potentially leading off his
out of the gate.
Out of his gate. So I think we kind of maybe missed the setup, and that will happen when you call into this show.
Yeah.
And I do apologize if it is not necessarily the greatest interaction of all time, but we do appreciate everybody that calls in. We appreciate everybody that views this thing on YouTube and listens on Sirius XM, Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio. AJ, got about 37 seconds or so until this show ends. Anything to say to the people that are going to hear Chris Mad Dog Russo at the top of the next hour?
Well, I think it's going to be a great show after us, but tomorrow's going to be a great show because free agency officially opens. Maybe we'll get to see some action tomorrow, Pat.
Oh, the first day of the league year is mañana. Who's been keeping secrets? Who makes what team? Who makes what signing? We'll be here to cover it from 12 to 3 Eastern Standard Time on YouTube and Sirius. And then immediately following our show is a better show called Mad Dog Unleashed in 6 minutes. It's over.
I just realized I forgot to look up that article where Mad Dog talked about you.
Oh, yeah. It was a nice interview.
I'll look it up.
It was. I feel like the timing of the answers.
Yeah, exactly.
He had glowing things to say about the morning man. I mean,
True. We do like as well. It was very big personality, I've always been described as that by people that definitely hate me. Pat, he's got a big personality. So you fucking hate me. Got it. By the way,
you think? Really?
Oh, that was a way to describe a lot. I think you've probably used it to describe people before to us, actually. A lot. That's another one.
Yeah, if you say a lot, I instantly say, oh, no, I don't want to be around that dude.
He's a lot. I'll throw around some words that people who know me know that if I'm saying it, that's a descriptor of a person that I do not like. And
you're an absolute wizard. You're an absolute wizard in person or through FaceTime, whatever it may be, especially in person. Oh my goodness, of making people feel good because you are a good dude. But if you don't like somebody, I tell you what, man, you should act. You should take that role that you were offered in that great show. You could put on a show.
No.
Oh, how's that person? Oh, the worst. I thought you grew up with that person, like how the interaction you just had.
Yeah, but that's for me though. That interaction is for me. People don't understand that. I'm getting, I'm enjoying what's going on here at least a little bit. Yeah. So that happens very rarely. Let's go to Stephen in Oregon. Stephen, what's going on over there? We just learned the placement of this state, by the way, which is big. Good for the show. It's right there below Washington, above California. Great scenery over there on the coast. What do you want to talk about, Stephen?
Yeah, man, great scenery, great pot. No clouds in the sky today. I just wanted to know if you've come to the realization that the Cowboys will never go 8-8 again now that there's 17 games.
Wow. Thank you, Stephen. It's a good call. Can't happen. Unless they miss a game, no contest, which I guess with Uncle COVID potentially lingering in our lives for at least the next, 50, 60 years? Mm-hmm. I guess that could happen, but you're right. Can no longer be a 500 ball club. You can either be below 500 or slightly above 500. You can no longer be just average as hell. And that's what happens whenever you move that thing to an odd number of games, okay? That's what's going to happen. That's why you have you have rock, paper, scissors and best of 3. That's why you do flip cup. And we'll do games of best of 15 here because there's always going to be an outlier. And now we know they are not going to be basic as shit anymore.
No way.
Not now.
Hey, Lions and Browns, only teams to ever go 0-16 in NFL history now.
Congrats to you guys. Wow. Hey, I was on a team that almost earned that. Hey, Dan Orshlovsky came through and really won a couple games. Almost fucked the entire organization, but It was a nice day to get a win out there.
Yeah, Dan couldn't do that for the Lions, unfortunately.
Well, that's because the Lions stink.
I know. It's not his fault at all.
People forget he was throwing dimes to Calvin Johnson.
Calvin Johnson, 0-16 year, led receivers in touchdowns. I don't know how they lose go 0-16.
You guys somehow figure out
they
how
got
to
to sell
fail.
the team.
Diggs, what's up, bub?
Some information on the Raiders cutting Rodney Hudson.
Okay.
In 6 seasons with the Raiders, he had 3,700 pass blocks, only allowed 3 sacks in 6 seasons and 6 hits. They actually lost $2 million in cap space by releasing him.
Dove Kleiman's reporting the Raiders actually lost $2 million in cap space releasing top center Rodney Hudson. His release is now a mystery. The Raiders parted ways from starters Richie Incognito, Gabe Jackson, Trent Brown, and now Rodney Hudson in a couple of weeks. What a situation. What the hell is going on? Gruden's like, knock on wood if you're with me, and that son of a bitch didn't knock. And they're like, well, we are cap strapped, but if he's not knocking on wood with us, do we even need him around here? It's going to cost us $2 million that we don't have. But fuck it, get him out of here. What is going on over there in Las Vegas?
Hey, Pat.
Go ahead.
My bad. The only thing I could think could happen is that they came to him and said, hey, we want to restructure, make you take a pay cut. And his agent says, hey, if they cut you, it actually costs them money. So no, we're not taking a pay cut. And they're like, all right, cool. We're going to take the loss. But why? It makes no sense. I don't get it though.
Well, it's probably, his dead cap, his contract's coming to an end. They probably negotiated this in to be there. We'll take a $2 million cap hit because what was it supposed to be? Maybe 7, 8 was his contract worth?
But you must really want him out of there though, right? Like why, if it's going to cost you to get rid of him, why don't you keep him around for 1 more year?
Well, I think it's only costing him $2 million. I would assume if they kept him, it'd be worth.
No, it's costing them $2 million more to cut him. His dead cap
on top of the dead cap.
His dead cap is $15 million, I believe.
Jeez. What? And his contract was only $13 million.
Let me make sure.
What the fuck?
So this
his dead cap number is $15 million, which means they will lose $2 million in projected cap space. Tweets Vincent.
Yeah, he was due.
Bonsignore.
He was due $13.6 million, and his dead cap is $15.6 million.
What is
it appears
cap is
as
fake?
if Lombo was correct.
This just reinforces what Lombardi was saying. Gruden is just like.
Where'd you get your stats from? That 3,600 thing with 3 thing? Was that PFF or who was that?
The stats?
Yeah,
it was PFF. Yes.
And they allegedly watch every snap. Do they know what's going on in every position? Not, but they're saying he's not just the worst offensive lineman of all time. Now they're taking a cash hit on the backside. What is going on in Las Vegas?
He's over 6 seasons only given up 3 sacks. He's one of the best centers in the league.
Yeah, he's the best of all time, maybe.
Playing for New England next year too. Let's go.
Or Green Bay. No, because they won't be able to afford him.
Nope. Yeah, he'll get a good contract, don't you think?
I'd assume he's guaranteed already money. He's going to get the double dip here, right?
Mm-hmm. Man, like Lenny. What something has to be up. There has to be something we don't know. I don't know what that could be.
Hey, they were coming after me. There was a batch of Raiders fans that were coming after me just a little bit ago. I want to let you know, although we had our differences on how you took my words out of context and everything like that, I do feel for you as your fanhood because they were a loyal bunch. They were very passionate.
Oh yeah.
And now they're watching things unfold in front of them. They're like, we suck again. Why is this happening? We lose our city. We go from Oakland to Las Vegas. We had a squad. Now we don't have a squad. We're paying more money to get rid of guys that are actually good. What's going on in Las Vegas right now?
Could they be doing this so Russell comes in and he can handpick his offensive line? I mean, Vegas was on his list of teams.
So we think Russell called ahead and was like, hey, take that $2 million cap hit. I don't want him. He's good. I don't want him.
He's a Pro Bowl center, Russ.
I don't want him.
No, not my center.
Hey, do you think this strengthens the relationship between Gruden and Derek Carr, that he got rid of all of his O-line?
All right, Derek, this is what we're thinking. You know that guy that was really good and dependable? The center? Yeah. He's out of here, man. Why? Didn't knock on wood. You know what we do. You know what we do around here. What is going on? This has to be – there's some weird shit happening right now, right? In the NFL, there's some weird –
Yeah.
The Cal Van Noy cut still makes no sense to me.
Wild.
It still makes no sense to me. This makes no sense to me. There's other moves that make no sense to me, and that's why the NFL never sleeps, and that's why this show will be okay for the entire offseason.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Hey, what about Clowney? I know he's on that list, a free agent. He'll probably get another 1-year deal somewhere, but he'll get some decent money with big incentive.
You think he's going to Miami?
Oh yeah, that's got Dolphins written all over it.
Davion Clowney?
Mm-hmm.
How come?
For like $16 million. Who knows? Just a terrible decision. But Miami, hey, fuck it, let's get Clowney in here, get some QB pressure, some sacks. We'll be fine. We'll make the playoffs.
Oh my God.
Get Clowney and Juju.
Juju Smith-Schuster going back to Pittsburgh would be so fucking electric.
Please.
I'd be so happy. I'd be so happy. But if the wide receiver market is not a good one right now, I assume a lot of these guys are going to have to take smaller deals. And if you're taking a smaller deal somewhere, you probably want to go somewhere where you can win or whatever. So there's a lot of interesting shit popping off. This salary cap, where some people have a lot of money and some people have no money, has really set people up to be in certain situations. And I in specific was clipped as complimenting Bill Belichick and talking about, his greatness during this thing as like, I think it's a potential freezing cold take or whatever video that people are setting me up to be a part of. And I want to let you know, I am a firm believer that Bill Belichick right now is doing everything he believes he has to do to make that team win immediately. And I love it because this is not what Bill Belichick is known for. This is him doing something very different. This is him recognizing the team stinks at the moment. We need to get better quickly. Kraft's going to spend the money. We have the money because we've never really spent the money. Let's do it all right now. I love what he's doing, AJ. I really love what's going on up there. But they can still make more moves. That whole team might look very, very different. The jersey sales in New England are about to go through the roof with all these new players. I mean, there's a chance that they become an entirely new team up there.
And if that was setting up for a freezing cold take video, let's make sure if you were right that is also for the freezing hot videos that will come out
Only
as well.
the bangers survive, and in this particular case, the bangers are when you're fucking way wrong. Way wrong.
Hey, the Patriots are going to make moves on draft day too, I bet. Through the draft, they always do something. They may add a big-name player through the draft, like from a trade.
Man. And they switched the picks with the Texans to move up to get their 4th, 5th, and 6th round picks a little bit more potentially appealing to somebody, probably to trade if I had to guess.
Yeah, Lombardi mentioned earlier that if they like a QB in the top 10, they will try and move down to get him. We know that he's tried that in the past.
What if he just builds this team with money out of nowhere and they're great? Yeah. That would be, oh my God, if you're Bill Belichick, you're probably hanging it up and then you're just swinging. Not that you couldn't before, your boat's already called 10 rings, but if you do good again, you could do whatever. I mean, that is just, what a moment there for Bill that would be.
Yeah, if it happened to, let's say he wins the Super Bowl in the next 3 years, I still don't think I don't think he walks away. Like, I don't think he wins and then says, all right, I'm good. I'm going to see you.
He looks so happy on that boat every time they show him.
Oh, yeah.
And he does. He's happy because he knows he's going to be going back into the office the next day and grinding away on film, but he likes having like that little respite on the boat when he knows, like, hey, I got this work ahead of me.
Well, we saw the videos of him giving his dog Nike a treat.
That's right. Letting him draft players.
You know what I mean? Maybe he's missing his time with Nike out there.
Could be.
Maybe he's missing a bow. Maybe it's the little things that he's enjoying more,
Might have caught the acting bug doing those
Subway
commercials.
But he does love spending time with his sons, and now both his sons are on the staff. So
he's bringing outside to inside.
Yeah, maybe he's like Tom Moore.
What about his lacrosse time, though?
Oh, he's still ripping twine in the offseason.
Hey, I saw somebody was really fucking hucking a ball at him, too, and he snagged that thing.
Both hands.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not messing around.
Legit,
Looks
by the
like
way.
Paul Rabel out there.
Hey, he was wearing a goddamn, he was wearing a cutoff hoodie. He had like a button down on, or maybe it was a vest over a button down and jeans, and he was fucking slinging. I mean, it was real. That's a sport of the future, AJ.
That's right.
I think Belichick should troll everybody and start like carrying a little teacup chihuahua with him at all times, like Paris Hilton used to do.
With that goddamn sweater he wears, that one that's just absolutely ripped to
Holes
shreds
in it.
and torn, and his hair's all disheveled, and he's just got a little dog with him. All right, that's the show. This show sucks. Let's get out of here. How about it? AJ, did you sign up for the March Madness bracket?
Yes, I'm in there. I think I'm in your I'm in there with everybody else.
Frankie boy, can we get an update on how many people are in that thing? Because
I want to look at I want to click on and see other people's bracket, and their bracket doesn't pop up. It just shows me blank ones.
Well, I'm an admin, so maybe I'll get to see that.
21,000.
21,000 people.
Okay.
Let's go.
right.
Where's the biggest one on the app? I believe it's Bleacher Report.
Capital One is the biggest. They have 35,000.
Oh, fuck. We got no shot.
Then Bleacher Report's second with 27. You would technically be third right now.
Oh, we got no shot.
Did he say he wants to see our brackets before the tournament starts? You want to steal our picks? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, that's
I
what
would
he does.
never steal your picks.
Yeah,
I don't
but
care to
people
steal your
would.
picks, but I thought if I clicked on somebody else's name, like I saw Zito's mom, I'm like, all right, let me check the bracket. I didn't get.
You can check it when the
What's
tournament
wrong
starts.
with you?
Everybody's checking out Zito's mom.
So if there's 21,000 people in there, that means there's 20,999 losers to me.
Get out of here, dude.
way.
This fucking guy. The only Canadian that can actually play. Now, I assume there's other Canadians that are in America or whatever. But the fact that Canada can't participate in this is unbelievable to me.
Why can't fucking Manitoba University, get a bid maybe?
Over there in
potentially?
Saskatoon?
Yeah, Saskatoon State. What? Why can't they fucking get into the dance?
They're not a mid-major? Why? Because it's cold up there?
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Wait, why can't Canadians join?
The Australians can't either. Go ahead and tell them. They can't get in it either.
Estonia?
Nobody. Estonia
Mexico?
definitely not.
Nope.
Mexico cannot.
Turkey?
Even I think Israel and Ireland, too, cannot.
No.
Yeah, can't do it.
England has to.
Germany can't either. We got a lot of listeners in Germany because of military over
Israel
there.
and Ireland usually go hand in hand. They usually.
Well, I was going through the alphabetical order.
Both eyes, dude.
I don't know if you saw it in my head. I was going through
I know.
of the analytics. Literally, I was like, what do I remember? We are in a lot of countries.
Denmark?
Not big in a lot of countries, but we have
pockets.
Somebody in countries, and it is wild to look at the analytics of that. It's like, why is somebody on that part of the earth listening to this dumbass show? There has to be something over there going on. And then you start looking into it a little bit more. It's like, there's a lot of military people that don't live in America or maybe moved for business or whatever. We're like a piece of America. Somebody wrote a letter to us. I appreciate that. It's like I'm with my friends back home. I want to let you know, if your friends are like this, I'm so sorry that you had the fucking dumbest group of people around you. I apologize for that. But it's very cool. And we are not happy that the people who don't live in America can't participate in this bracket bonanza, though. It's
bullshit.
That is not something that we knew about when we set this up. We might have to take our bracket elsewhere next year.
Well, I mean, it's typical bullshit from those greedy corporate fat cats at the NCAA. I'd expect nothing less,
Yeah, you're right. Because what do? They just sit there and say, how do we get some?
Yeah. Hey, let's get all these people's emails and then send them just a bunch of emails
Yeah,
all
bunch
year
of-
long.
About how great we are.
Yeah. How much we care about the kids.
Oh, amateurism. That's a word.
Pat, why are you getting back in the climber today? You going back to wrestling?
I'm getting fat, dude.
You look the same to me.
Thank you. That means a lot. But I think it's because we see each other every single day, so you don't notice the slow difference. But what happens is we'll run a video from, the past, and I'll look at it, and I'm like, oh, my God, that guy. That guy. It's a half a human. And it happens quickly. So, it's a nice little wake up. And I've tried to find other ways to do cardio, and the only one I can ever really do is the Stairmaster. Everything else, I just
stick with what works.
I find myself not doing. Now, I'm boxing people every night still. Hey. I'm still,
that's a legit workout.
Oh, yeah. I'm hoping that does the upper body so I don't have to take as much time doing all the, all the bullshit, hopefully, that I hate.
I thought it's like good cardio is boxing out there when you're bouncing around throwing 7,000 punches when you're not used to throwing punches.
Well, I couldn't wipe my ass the other day because I couldn't get my arms back there.
Yeah.
Dana White's like, hey.
Shout out to Sam she help you?
No, I just did I went over to the shower.
Yeah, bidet method.
Oh, that's terrible.
Of course.
Smart.
Yeah, thank you.
Did you dump in there and push it down the drain?
No, I'm taking it easy.
Foolish, dude. That's what it sounded like.
No,
we don't do what you do.
Roll up, dude. Listen, you're fucking just waltzing into places and you're like, let me see your shower. What are you
poop in the shower?
Is that what you're saying? You walk into people's houses, let me see
I
your
would
shower,
never do that,
dude.
never have.
Oh, you're an upper decker.
Oh, yeah,
guy.
yeah, top shelf, huh? Yeah, leave that thing. Where's your Hey, how's it going? Where's your toilet at? Yeah, no big deal. Let me see the shower, though. Fucking see ya.
Gotcha. Got you good.
This thing's awesome.
You waffle stump in showers?
Yeah, what are you doing, pal?
I don't do anything in showers. How you made it sound like you wiggle over there and dump in the shower.
Well, you do got to watch how you walk because you don't want it to,
Yeah.
potentially become a problem.
True. Prairie dog.
We had a bidet company that was working with us. You remember that?
Yeah. Hello, Tushy.
Yeah, you needed 4 plumbers to come by and an architect to figure out how to get it to work. But that would have been really nice.
It would have.
That would have been really nice.
Well, I
Damn.
think Nick sent everybody to the wrong website as well.
Oh, did he? What did he do?
There's a different.
Tushy.com is
Ain't nothing wrong with Tushy.com, pal. Easy.
All right, we're not into your like fuck sites, right? We're not doing any of that. Okay, we're talking about a bidet that people could get in their house.
Now I know what to spend that $51,000 on when I win the bracket challenge.
So you're gonna get those plumbers to come in with the architect and get you that bidet?
Give me
Those
that
aren't
bidet.
plumbers.
All right. All right, dude.
Who are they?
Okay, this show. Let's go to Jeff in Winnipeg, please. Jeff, what's going on up there in Winnipeg, pal?
Come on, Jeff.
Hey, Pat, happy 316 to you and the boys.
What?
I have a hockey nuke for you.
What?
It involves a 9-0-1.
What?
So Winnipeg Jets, when they lose,
What?
9-0-1 on the next game after.
What?
Yeah, lock it in.
What?
Drink a beer.
What?
Have some pizza.
What?
Win some money.
What?
What do you boys think of that?
What?
I like that guy.
Wow. Good call.
Good boy, Jeff.
Good call. Those Jets bounce back after a loss.
Let's go.
I was
9-0-1 after a loss. The Winnipeg Jets. What was that?
I was waiting for a cement in the skates there.
Oh, yeah.
Cement in the skates? What?
Yeah, well, yeah. If he would have
really
went through,
missed it there.
if he would have won through every Canadian
Yes.
word,
Hockey slang.
and that could have been we could still be sitting here.
Yeah.
What?
Pucks on net? What?
The language that Canadians speak is so entertaining. That Letterkenny show. Have you watched it, AJ?
No, I don't even know what it is.
It's just people speaking in different sets, basically, and they're just speaking Canadian, and it is unbelievable. You liked it, Ty? You watched it?
Yeah, I
did you?
watched the entire series in like 4 or 5 days on my week off. It's very funny.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome, dude. It is unbelievable. These Canadians, they said, no, we're not going to do the Revolution, pal. Actually, we're going to just create our own little thing we got up here. We're a little bit Europe. We're a little bit America. Kind of the best of everything, though. We will look down upon everybody. We want to live close because we do want to see what's going on, but we got our own thing going on. It is hysterical, that Letterkenny show.
Gumpy, tell Pat about the vinyl stickers you were putting on all those ships.
Decals.
Excuse me?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's not real.
You don't even know what he's talking about.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
What am I saying, Nick?
Decal.
No way.
Yeah.
That's the word.
Yeah.
Decals?
Yes, sir.
Have I heard this before?
No.
It came up last week, I believe.
Last week was the first time we heard it.
Yeah, how do you guys, like, we should sell some decals, you said?
Funny thing is I worked with people from the U.S. on decals on ships, and they never said it differently.
Yeah, but they're working on ships in Canada, so
Yeah.
I'm not sure they're our best representatives. But
They were from Seattle.
Wait, do you call it decaf too?
Decaf.
Okay, just making sure.
That's a good point.
that
though.
is a great point there.
Yeah, boy, Z.
Hey, that boy Z.
That's
Hey, put Canada in a pretzel. That boy Z.
Is that all of Canada, or is that just your region, Gump?
I think that's just my region. I mean, every time I say something, people on the internet tell me I'm wrong about Canada, but that's just my Canada. I mean, that's what it is.
So there's other portions of Canada that come after you for your particular depiction of Canada?
Every day, my friend.
Oh, that's awesome. Canada's awesome, huh?
Yeah.
I love Canada.
Hey, that's bullshit, buddy.
You know, if you really want a Canadian hero on the show.
Oh, the best there is, the best there was.
You know, Pat, I'm tired of, sitting back and listening to Western Canadians just really ruin the great country of Canada with their depiction.
Okay. The depiction is something that you don't like, Bret Hart. Why is that?
Well, you got a guy on the couch over there talking about soccer and talking about decals. What about hockey? What about the Hitman? I got screwed.
You did. You did.
And now everyone's celebrating Steve Austin on 316 Day. If it wasn't for the Hitman, he'd still be some bald guy with a stupid name.
Okay. Right. Stunning Steve, is that who we're talking about?
Maybe even the Ringmaster.
Oh, okay. A little throwback there. Hey, big shout out to the Hitman Hart for making 316 Day song.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Brett.
Thank you, Brett. Not enough people do Bret the Hitman Hart impersonate. That is Bret the Hitman Hart right there.
We had the Hitman and Andre the Giant today.
Oh my God! Did you hear Andre the Giant? Were you on for that?
No. Who was this?
Same person that's also Bret the Hitman Hart, Macho Man Randy Savage, and many others. The Andre the Giant one. We were talking about David Baker, the guy who is the Hall of Fame, the Hall of Fame guy. You know,
the big dude.
Yep.
Bingo. He's 6'9", I guess 400 pounds. No,
6 pounds.
What?
Half a ton.
Jeez.
That's news to me. I was under the impression he was 8'7", 600 pounds.
Who knew?
You're a terrible person.
He's a massive human being. I mean, he can't help it. He's 8'7".
Please have some respect. He's 400 pounds.
That's, by the way, I got cut off with this. He's a great man.
Yeah.
We all are big fans, but he is a massive man.
Huge.
But he is the walking Hall of Fame. Yeah. I mean, that's like, oh, there goes the Hall of Fame right there. Like, that's who's walking by. It's unbelievable. That obviously led to, like, who are some of the humans that have ever been, the biggest? And Andre the Giant's conversation popped up because it feels like David Baker, very similar build as Andre the Giant. And then all of a sudden out of the back, Andre the Giant came out. And it was, I never heard him speak. I would assume this is exactly what he sounds like, though.
Anybody want a peanut?
Is that exactly what he sounds like, you think?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
He asked you a question, AJ.
I mean, was it that? Could you understand Andre the Giant when he spoke? I don't know. It's very difficult.
Sure. Andre the Giant spoke many languages.
He did. He spoke French. There's even a little French in
My
there.
real name is Andre Rusamov.
Oh my! And by the way, there was an actor that just portrayed Andre the Giant on Young Rock.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, but he was too small.
He was not the actual giant.
No.
Yeah.
They didn't get David Baker to stand in for him?
The guy who played him was rather large. I wonder who that person was. I would assume that person had to be some sort of
camera trick.
What? They just put the camera down.
Guy's probably like 6'2".
No way.
Gave him the De Niro.
No,
shoes.
he's an actor. He played. I think he played tackle in the NFL.
Oh,
Nice.
Big guy. Had to be a big guy.
Nice.
I think he played Richard Jewell too.
Pull him up. Can we pull him up?
Richard Jewell ran that sprint he ran around that park.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Moving, but could never have made the time limit that they expected.
That actor was also in We Are the Millers, I believe. He's the bad guy in that.
Oh, okay. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
Very tall guy.
Very tall guy.
One eye. Yeah. What is We Are the Millers?
Was he?
Great movie. Jay Sutton. Okay, you're going to enjoy this. You're going to enjoy this movie. You're welcome, actually, for us just bringing this into your life. We're the Millers. Great movie.
Who's in it? Sudeikis, you said?
Yeah, and
Jennifer Aniston.
Jennifer Aniston.
Oh,
Don't see the
is
TV
she ever-
version. Do not see the TV version.
And that kid who's funny.
Oh, the kid.
What? The TV version's bad.
The kid is. I don't think. When was the last time I watched the TV version of any movie? Does that happen?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Really? Channel surfing? You guys stop on movies and you just watch?
Every single
I have
day.
like a very
Really?
good talent where I always pick up where I left off. It's a very cool talent.
That
I
is a
have
cool talent. That is a very cool
from the
talent.
day before. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And it's always on TV?
Yeah.
Which movies are these ones that are just running back?
Interstellar is always when I catch in the perfect time.
Okay.
Shooter, you always have to stop on TNT.
Twister.
Taken.
Twister.
Yeah, but don't you guys see that and you just go, oh, that's a good idea. We should watch that movie. And then you go over to a platform and you just watch the whole
That's 20
thing.
bites.
No, it's right there, right in front of you.
I put it on.
Yeah,
You sit there and then you sit through commercials too during that?
No, you go to a
It's
different
snack
movie
time.
while the commercials.
While the commercials are on, you guys don't think, oh, we could watch
It's
this
like
without this.
$19.99.
That's pee breaks.
Okay, so it's built in like adult time.
Or phone break.
Takes you back.
It's like a babysitter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kinda.
Takes you back before you could fast forward and stuff.
I like a little nostalgia. Yeah, that's good. I don't know if I'm gonna do it ever again, but I do like that you guys do it. Hold that thing a lot.
There's our guy.
He's big, so
6'7".
Hell yeah.
Okay.
and yoked, by the way.
Thank you,
He's
Rock.
big man.
Is he as big as you?
I'm 7'4".
That sounds like I don't know what he sounds like actually, but if he was to sound like that, sounds exactly like it would sound.
That's
like.
it.
I thought so.
Was he really 7'4"?
No, it's probably like 7 foot, 7'1" maybe.
Who's the biggest? Yao Ming.
7'6".
Yeah, I was up there. There was a guy who was like 7'11", I'm pretty sure.
How tall was
China.
George Mirasan? I think he was like 7'8", wasn't he?
How about Taco? How tall is Taco?
Taco 7'4".
Could you fathom?
Is anyone 8 foot?
Manute Bowl.
Sasquatch.
Is he 8?
I don't think so, but he was so damn skinny, he looked like he was 8.
Robert Wadlow was 8 foot 11 inches.
8'11"?
Oh, yeah.
Walk in this world?
Tallest human of all time.
Could you imagine if he popped up right now? They'd be like, look at what global warming is doing. We got to take GMOs out. We got an 8'11" guy. When was this dude walking around? And was it the same inches that we're measuring with?
He was born in 1918 and died in 1940. 8'11".
He served in the
He was
war?
born in Illinois. Yeah, he was the scope for a submarine.
He was
curious.
Thank you for your service.
He was up there.
Holy hell.
No,
He was a fighter pilot, Ty.
I don't know how tall those women are. I don't know how tall those women are, but it's
absolute womanizer.
How many pockets do those pants have?
I'm
Not
sure
enough.
You can't reach them. But this dude, imagine if this was nowadays. Everybody would be like, "We got something happened. There is a glitch in the Matrix. We have a 9-foot human walking around."
How big are those glasses?
By the way, and if that guy doesn't make the NBA, you got a lot of questions.
Yeah, how did they not hey, like, let's put a basketball in this guy's hands?
Let's keep him around.
The overtime league would be offering that guy $1 million to play in.
When did he hit a growth spurt where he grew 4 feet?
Just woke up one morning.
What?
Fucking
Came out
feet
4
off the
feet.
fucking bed.
I'm gonna have to find that.
Bro, respect to that guy.
Yeah.
Just walking around on stilts. He's on stilts. Like when you walk into a fair and there's somebody on stilts, that's probably how tall he is. That's
3 foot.
He is a basketball hoop walking around. That's unbelievable. My God, that guy is awesome. I wish we could have met this guy.
I mean, he had to have cash, didn't he? Because all of his clothes have to be custom made to him. I don't know how this dude functioned.
Man.
Even when he died, there was no indication that his growth had ended.
Oh, he was going to keep going. Yodely, 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 yodely.
Jeez.
So have his legs just like bursted out of the casket and they're just like
I think they
still going?
I think they chopped him at the knees and just stacked him. You know?
Oh, jeez.
He was taller than his dad at age 8.
All right. When he was 8 years old.
Does that
he was
happen?
taller
He's
than
already
his dad.
passed away. It doesn't matter.
All right.
Oh, he died?
Let's get, he definitely, we talked about that earlier, 1940 something.
You see the photos, though?
All right, we got to get out of here. The show's over. I'm missing something again. I'm supposed to do the.
Oh, shit.
Rest in peace.
You got 4 minutes.
I can get over there. I'm supposed to do a walkthrough for a thing with a place with a guy. I missed the first one.
With the guy, the gentleman that was very passionate about you not having the church?
No, not Mr. Smothers. No, somebody else.
Although.
But I do hope he does stop by sometime. It would be nice to put up a shot or two on the hoop with Mr. Smothers and kind of bury that whole rivalry. We all appreciate you so much. Please enter into the Bracket Bonanza March Madness live. We appreciate you so much. We'll be back tomorrow. Big show. Hey, the league year kicks off tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of shit that happens. Ain't that right, AJ?
That is right, man. Can't wait. We've been waiting so long for something to happen. Tomorrow's the day.
Yeah. Allegedly. It seems like the goalposts keep getting pushed back, you know. When are we going to finally get there? Tomorrow, it all happens. And we got a lot of guests tomorrow.
Oh, man.
Tons.
Just wait.
Not a guess.
AJ, you got anything to say to the YouTube viewers before we get out of here?
No, but I was going to ask you, are we going to try to do some kind of draft thing this year? I know you got to go somewhere, too.
Yeah, we are definitely doing a draft thing, I think.
Got it. Just want to prepare myself.
It's a 7-hour show. Get your fucking ass ready for that.
Best night of the year, AJ. What are you talking about?
Where is the draft happening?
Cleveland Browns area. I got to go. All right. Appreciate you all for watching. 32,000 people still watching. 33,000 people. There has to be something else, man. I mean, jeez. But we appreciate the fact that you guys are watching with us. Please enter into the Bracket Bonanza. Thank you all on YouTube. We'll try to bring a above average show to you manana. Follow along on all the social medias. They're all out there. And we'll see you tomorrow. Cheers. You're the best. We really appreciate you guys rocking with us. That 51,000 could become 75,000, which could become 100,000. Be a friend, tell a friend. Let's give away a lot of fucking money, okay? Yeah. This has been the Pat McAfee Show, March 16th, 3/16 day. We'll see you tomorrow.